Hey everybody, welcome back to Alien RPG with Hachiman. Really looking forward to playing Act 2 of San Tome here. I really hope you guys will stick with us. This is where things should start to get fun. Please subscribe, turn on your notification bell, like the video, comment below. All the interaction really helps. And we're waiting on one player, but we're going to go ahead and jump in. Alright, so everybody's sound is good, I assume? Everybody hears everybody? Alright. Oh, hold on. There we go. My thing wasn't unmuting. So, quick recap.
I also sent you a Facebook message, Marty.
I see that. Oh shoot. I hate it when I hit something on my phone and I hit the wrong thing. Alright, so quick recap. It was another day like any other on the colony of San Tome on LV-703. Everybody was kind of doing their thing. Nostromo had gotten a very early message that the supply ship that was due on that day was not going to arrive on time, that it was delayed for 17 days. Meanwhile, Martin DeCowd, played by Sharif, was in fish processing, dealing with a problem. Apparently some workers the night before had left the door open to fish processing, and the wolf spiders that exist in the jungle and on the colony of San Tome had gotten in and completely infested everything, which in the end you figure cost the colony the loss of 3 or 4 days worth of food. The Charles de Gold was in his office when Wayne Arpaia, his right-hand man, the NPC, came down and mentioned some mechanical problems as well as some trouble with the workers. Monahan was in her lab working on her 2 projects, which I'll get a little more to that for you in just a moment. There was an accident in the vehicle depot, a roughneck running a power loader. The power loader had a mechanical failure and it fell, and it was only because of the roughneck's piloting that he actually managed to somewhat land on one of the tractors in the vehicle depot. He did end up landing on the leg of the poor roughneck we have called Billy, and poor Billy eventually had to go to medical and have his leg amputated by the auto doc. The net effect of all that was, in addition to, with the supply ship being late, the colony is almost out of medical supplies. It was out of napper leave and was down to 2 med kits. It's now down to 1 med kit. However, good Dr. Monahan, with her research, had managed to complete a working experimental painkiller using the spider venom that's in the area, which seemed to work to great success on poor Billy. While it made him rather intoxicated, it seemed to dull the pain. He didn't feel anything while the auto doc did what it was supposed to do. And going 4 hours in, the painkiller was still operating. Monahan also was able to work on one of her other projects, which was using some native succulents that seemed to have a chemical that could be used as a non-water soluble lubricant, which she has given to Gould to help with his mechanical issues, hopefully. Yeah, that's right. You guys, the day started yesterday at 8 a.m. Earth Standard Time, which was about midday on this planet, which has a very short day-night cycle of only about 8 hours. By the time Nostromo had a staff meeting in his office about 4 p.m. Earth Standard Time, where you guys reviewed all of the day's events, which 4 p.m. Earth Standard Time was already noon the next day on this particular colony, even though it had only been 8 hours. In discussions in that meeting, Gould got a call from Wayne up at the mine, which, long story short, you all went to the mine to check it out because he asked for Gould to come and to bring Monahan, and he he also blurted right there in front of everybody, "Hey, keep this quiet from the UPP guys for now." Of course, all the UPP guys were sitting right there. You guys climbed in a tractor. You rolled up to the mine head and drove straight into the mine. After quite a distance, reaching the end of the shaft where they had broken through into a cavern. Now, LaSalle knew the cavern was there. This mine has been producing paltry amounts of things like germanium and chemosite and some other rare earths. However, this cavern was the target of the mining operation because it seemed to be where a high concentration of the things that you guys were after. So you guys were, the goal had always been to make it to the cavern, but you didn't know what to expect, or I should say you didn't expect what you found. Because immediately upon shining his flashlight through the breakthrough point, you were all greeted by a stone head with very chiseled features, broad forehead, a prominent nose, cheekbones, jawline, and a grim mouth that seemed to have an almost disapproving frown. The eyes on this stone head were blank, almost like a classical Roman statue. And the skull itself was hairless. This was cause for stress because this planet is uninhabited, and yet, and there's been no, outside of the Arcturans, there have been no intelligent life found so far in the galaxy, and to find this was very concerning. As you guys moved into the cavern, it's a quite large cavern, some 30 meters across. There were another half dozen of these stone heads, some of them carved seemingly out of the rock to basically to make columns that went from floor to ceiling in the cavern, almost as if they were holding up the roof of the cavern. On the far side of this cavern, there was one last of these carvings, and this one wasn't a whole head, it was just the face. But in contrast to all the others, the mouth on this one was open, in a bit of a grimace, and pouring out of the mouth is a black oil-like fluid that is pouring out in a relatively large quantity, pooling in kind of a retaining pool before it flows off through a passage to the south. There's a walkway that follows that stream as the southern passage bends east out of view, and that's where we're at.
And Nostromo's there too, or is he back at the colony?
No, you are all there. You with the blurting of the NPC Wayne Arpaia, you guys kind of all decided to head down.
Okay, just maybe I missed this part. The motivation for all the characters to go down is linked to the accident in the
well, it's the mine is a LaSalle operation that the UPP gets a 25% cut on, and so Charles Gould is the mining project manager, and Wayne Arpaia, the NPC, is who looks like who's this guy right here. He's the foreman. He's the mine foreman, essentially. He's Gould's right-hand man, actually working the mine itself. And Gould radioed back to Charles to come down and to bring Monahan, who is played by Andy, played by me last time, but played by Andy this time. Thank God, I don't have to do it. He asked Charles to bring Monahan down, and then he said, "And let's keep this quiet from the UPP guys for now." Well, being that you, Nostromo, Colonel Sotillo, and Sharif's character, who's Martin DeCowd, the workers' rights representative, were all right there in the meeting. You know, you guys had a vested interest at that point in going to see what it was that the LaSalle head roughneck didn't want you guys to know about.
Got it. Okay, so we're at the mouth of the mouth
You're
of the
actually
mine,
down in the cavern.
down in the cavern. Oh yeah, and we saw in the stone heads that we saw. Those are humanoid.
They
Guessing.
are humanoid heads. They're absolutely humanoid, and I would say human-like, but again, their features are exaggerated. They're the ones that have full skulls are hairless. Like they're and again, the features are all very prominent. The bridge of the nose is very prominent. The chin, the cheekbones. So it's definitely a human-ish face is the best way to put it.
Okay, got it. The scientist in the group that's with us. Who's that? Do we have one?
That's me.
Oh, Dr. Moynihan. There we go. He changed
Dr.
his name
Monahan,
again.
yeah.
Or Moygan. Moygan? Dr. Moygan.
Moningham is how I was saying it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have a misspelling. You're missing your N. On
That's
your
okay.
portrait.
Don't worry. Dr. M.
Yeah,
My
comrade.
character, Nostromo turns to him and what could that possibly be? Is that oil? Is that crude oil that's coming out of there?
We're right in front of this fountain with the pool.
Yeah, I would say you guys moved in a little bit as you were looking around, so you're standing close to the center of the cavern, which puts you maybe 5 to 8 meters away from the pool of black fluid. The only light you have is light shining in from the tractor from the mine tunnel behind you, plus Wayne's high beam flashlight. Unless I don't think any of the rest of you have a flashlight, do you?
No, I sure don't.
No.
I do not.
I'll look up my sheet real fast. Wayne, have you done any investigation at all, or did you just call us immediately when you found this?
As soon as I'm the only one who's been in the cavern itself. Well, that's not true. One of the roughnecks followed me in. But as soon as obviously the head was concerned enough. But as soon as I saw the oil, that's when I sent everybody out. I sent everybody out, gave the guys the rest of the day, the rest of the shift off, and hit you up immediately.
So I'll probably turn back over to Nostromo and shrug and say, it's hard to be sure without subjecting it to some kind of lab analysis. I'll take a step closer and just kind of take a look at it curiously. I'm not sure if there's anything that she could try to figure out at this point. It's pretty early. If we've just discovered this thing, and I don't probably have anything on, like I'm not going to take a handful of it, obviously. I am not. This is not Prometheus.
I want to taste it.
I am.
Let me
not
taste it.
Yeah. Let me just crack open my helmet, take a deep breath of these spores.
Is there a cool sentient worm running around somewhere I can get friendly with?
That I can touch. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
As the biologist.
Yeah, I would give him that answer and then kind of like peer at it and try to take a closer look without touching.
I would make a commentary on that scene, by the way. Everybody picks on that scene, that the biologist with this strange alien animal. It is important to note that if you look into that character's backstory a little bit, there's only one sentence of it in the movie, but in the novel by Alan Dean Foster, it's expanded more. He's not a field biologist. He's basically a classroom type guy. So his
Surprise.
field experience, and he was a biologist, not a zoologist, which are two different things.
Okay.
There's another dimension to that where they talk about. I didn't read in the novel, but it's not in the movie. This was just the two big problems with these two elements of it. Those two guys were picked up by Weyland Yutani specifically because they weren't very qualified, and that's not what Peter Weyland had in mind when he took that mission.
That's right.
So he wasn't interested in that, but they never unpack either of those two things in the movie. The problem with Prometheus is that the writing is poor. It's not even that the concept's bad. It's just a
Oh,
terrible
no, the
scene.
concept's fantastic. I
Yeah,
mean,
the scene execution is, there's a
Yeah.
reason to give a bitch.
Yeah, if they would have given backstory, that would have made a lot more sense. But I
Yeah.
think Alan Dean Foster probably invented that to explain. Anyway, so
Sorry.
could I,
If I
go ahead.
Anyway, that's not.
No,
what
if
I'm
I
gonna
step
do.
closer with the doc, and take a sniff, does it smell like anything? I mean, we can see it, but what does it have an odor?
Does it smell like oil?
Make an observation roll.
Yeah, crap. I gotta pull up my sheet now.
Wow. Look at the big brain on Monahan.
You know, I'm going to roll
Yeah,
also,
she's sharp.
so I can just see looking for the source of this. You know, if there's any like piping or so, is this like magically coming out of this guy's mouth?
I gotcha. Oh, so Tio, are you wearing your combat armor?
I am now.
Okay. Because your UB90 combat armor, I believe that's what it's called, UB90 combat armor. It's very similar to the Marine armor in that it has a shoulder lamp on it, so you kind of have a flashlight as well, even if it's not on your character sheet. So we've got quite a few successes. Charles Gold, to answer your immediate question, does it smell like anything? The answer to that is no. Actually, there's the whole cavern has a bit of a dusty, musty odor is the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's what my
To
notes
be
say
expected,
about
but in terms of does it smell like oil, as Monahan directly stated, the answer is no, not really. You especially, Gould, I'm sure would know what crude oil smells like, and it doesn't seem to have an odor in and of itself. Now, Nostromo, you made the point of asking if there's any piping or that type of thing. You do not see anything. If you I guess you would probably direct Wayne's flashlight at the mouth of the of the face in the wall where the oil's coming out of its mouth. It's very dark inside, and it looks like there doesn't look like there's any additional devices or any sort, and you can't see very far into it, maybe just a few inches or a foot. It just, wherever this is coming from, it's definitely not coming from any sort of device that you recognize. And
Okay.
you guys have some observation stunts. I don't know what
well,
let's see, if Nostromo's got
Nostromo
one
has one.
stunt and Monahan has two.
Yeah, I got to grab my cheat sheet here. I forgot to grab it before.
That's what I was doing. I was running for my book, which I always have, but never have with me, and I usually want to have it open. But
If I haven't done it already, I've got a PDF. I've got a couple PDFs that I could email you guys. One is just a total talent cheat sheet. It has every talent in the game, just in an alphabetical order list. And then the other is it's a 4-page rule cheat sheet that's got the list of fast and slow actions. It's got the list of all the different stunts, everything. It's a very handy thing to have.
yeah, that would definitely be helpful.
So stunts on observation are, you can know the answer to one of these questions. Is it coming from me, or are there more of them close by? How do I get in, past, or away?
Doesn't really seem applicable here.
Can I extrapolate? How do I get in into something a little closer to where is this coming from? Similar to what Nostromo was looking for.
Yeah, the answer is it's really hard to tell. From Wayne's flashlight in the mouth, there's no additional equipment or devices inside the mouth of this face that's carved into the wall. It seems that the oil-like substance is just and from what you can tell, you would guess that it is actually angling upward and then coming out the mouth. So obviously, there's got to be something. Just as you said, extrapolating. There's got to be something pushing it, creating a stream because you're forcing a liquid to go uphill, if that
Okay.
makes sense. And then it just pours down into the mouth, into the pool where it swirls for a second before it just drains out to this stream to the south.
So it's coming out at a kind of a slower pace, and it's thin enough to be able to swirl rather than just puddle and spread out.
Correct.
Okay.
So I think I'd like to turn back to Charles and to Nostromo and just say, well, obviously we've uncovered an archaeological site of some kind, and we need to find out what that is. I think it's probably in the best interest. What's my company called here again? LaSalle.
LaSalle.
In the best interest of both LaSalle and the UPP, if we start to check it out immediately. I have some lab equipment that I can use to start to analyze some of this. But I think first and foremost, we should just secure the area. And if I could get some better lighting down here in a setup, I can probably try to get us some answers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's do that, because if this is some sort of fuel source, that'll work greatly for the progressive peoples in the universe.
I'd shrug at him and say maybe we could finally get some extra help around here.
Yeah, well, so I think before we do that, then let's take a closer look around the cavern. Make sure we shine the light everywhere. Let's make sure this is a safe location for you to work.
And look over at Wayne and say, Wayne, is there any more lighting available? Do you have any other equipment maybe outside the mine?
He says absolutely. Back in the warehouse, we have additional lighting stanchions that we can get set up. I'll need to run some power lines, but that's easily done. In the short term, I can just use a good old-fashioned extension cord.
Maybe we should start there then.
He said, "Yep, I can do that."
All right, let's take a look at this stream too before we walk out. The stream is going which direction did you say?
It is the stream is about 2 feet wide, give or take. Obviously the channel it's running through is not a perfect channel. It varies in width a little bit here or there, but in general it's about 2 feet wide, and it heads south through the cavern and into a passageway that you can, with the light, you can see down that passageway about 10 meters before it starts to bend east. But there is a walkway next to the stream.
Okay. Does it look like the channel was, can I tell, since I'm a mining expert, does it look like the channel was made by somebody, chiseled out of the stone, or does it look like it was eroded and became a natural channel over time?
That is a very good question. To come up to the conclusion, I'll let you make an observation roll with a 2 modifier.
Okay.
Comrade Nostromo, do you think this area is safe? Would you want some of my Marines to come and help secure the area, or not?
Yes, I need a detachment to post outside of the entrance to this cavern. Who's your most trusted man or woman?
I have two in mind. I will contact them as soon as I have communications up and get them out here.
Okay, great. I would like to please speak with them before posting them. Two of those individuals may assist us in our investigation in here.
Of course, as you wish.
Yeah.
Colonel, if I may, I'd like to have some reasonable degree of authority over your men as we start to investigate so that we don't contaminate the scene, just for sake of setting up my investigation protocols.
Absolutely.
I don't intend to order them around, of course.
No, absolutely, Doctor. You are the science advisor here. Your advice in science matters will take precedence over anything that is non-threatening to the order and security of this.
I appreciate it. I think it's critical to finding the answers we need here.
You got it.
Yep, Colonel. If you try your comms, you're not getting through. You're almost a mile underground based on what Wayne told you guys before. So you're getting quite a bit of you're getting quite a bit of interference. You would have to go back up further in the mine shaft, probably, to get a clear signal. I can't hear you. I'm going through a tunnel. All right, let's see.
Yep.
And in terms of... That's Wayne. Why is Wayne in the meeting room? That's weird. In terms of Gould, your question, the channel, at first glance, you would say that it was naturally occurring, just because it again, it's not uniform, down its length. But the more you look at it, the more you think that it was definitely hewn out of the stone itself. Perhaps it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be perfect, or whoever made it was just in too much of a hurry. They're just trying to get the job done. Obviously, you don't know. But looking carefully at it, it was definitely it's definitely been created.
Okay. All right. So it looks like we all have some things to do, Doctor. You have to get whatever equipment you need and help. If you're going to use your assistant, if you need any other help, you need to let us know. Wayne, you need to get the lights and everything else the doctor needs. Plus, I hand him the tube of experimental lubricant. I say, you need to do what we discussed before, pick out on your conveyor, pick out some equipment as a test and apply this and then observe the results. Meanwhile, obviously, the colonel has to contact her men, and I think ultimately, once the doctor gets working, I don't see any other alternative but to get some portable lights ourselves and start checking out this passage to see where it goes.
Give me 1 second. Let me reconnect here.
So
right.
Dr. Monaghan would nod and say, I agree with all of that, and I appreciate it, Charles. Also, if Colonel Satillo is having difficulty keeping in touch with the surface and we're going to be down here for any length of time, are there any kind of relay stations we could set up to maintain radio contact?
Martin, I would say, Martin DeCowd probably chimes in and says, we should be able to, should be able to get some of the guys to set something up. If we set up a relay probably just inside the cave, or not the cave, but the mine tunnel entrance, the mine head. Maybe we'll have to put up another one here where the mine tunnel meets the cavern, but we should be able to get communications relays without too much trouble.
Perfect.
Wayne, is this? I got another thought though. Is this the main shaft you guys have been working, or are you extracting ore from somewhere else in the mine? In other words, if we start, it's important that we do this and we check this out, especially if it's some kind of archaeological or anthropological thing, but are we going to upset the output from the mine while we do this?
Wayne kind of shrugs back and forth a little bit and says, "Well, yeah, there's going to be some of that, but the mine's not really producing at a substantial level right now anyway. Most of the deposits we found have been relatively minor on some of the side passages. We should be able to keep that going."
Okay.
He says, but, and he walks over to one of the stone heads and shines his light up on it, and he says, you know, Mr. Gould, I've been in mines for quite some time, and I'm looking at this as archaeologically significant as it might be. I'm also telling you that this particular head is probably made of pure chemosite, which is one of the things we're after here. So I guess we're going to need to have a discussion about that. This head alone is probably worth $2 million in mineral export alone.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. When I return back to the lab, I'm going to need to get some equipment in order to collect some of whatever this substance is and do some further investigation down here. I can contact LaSalle and start to fill them in on the situation just so that we could start to get a little bit of input from their side. And as we start to uncover what's going on down here, maybe we can start to think about further decisions. You're probably right. I agree with you. I'm assuming that if he sees, well, not assuming, I can make a roll if you want. Does Moningham recognize different geological features down here and kinds of stone?
I would. She obviously she's not a geologist, but you are a scientist in multiple fields. I mean, you can make that roll if you like, but I think it's safe to assume that that you can generally agree with what he's saying.
Okay, yeah, I'm willing to lean on Wayne's expertise there.
Well, Wayne, if what I would say, Wayne, is that obviously these have some significance, cultural significance. We need to stand clear of these for now. But if these were hand hewn out of the native rock, that tells me this cavern might have been a very high deposit, and that means there could be other nearby. So you might have found what used to be or what could still be a vein. So let's keep an open mind on where we go from here. It's too early to jump to anything, I think.
I agree with Mr. Gould. I think it's critical that we gather as much information as we can before we make any operational decisions.
Well, Martin says, chimes in and says, well, before that all makes sense to me. Before we head out and start gathering equipment, and he points over to the south, perhaps we should see where this goes. Maybe this is an old mine.
I think better lighting would probably serve us well for any further exposition of the site.
I prefer to get prepared with lights and any other equipment or sample information and equipment we need before we go traipsing down that pathway. Plus, the colonel said she was going to supply a couple men, and they might be helpful to us as we go down this pathway. So
Nostromo, do you want me to get any of the roughnecks to help us with all this equipment, or do you want to keep them out for now?
No, I was going to say, obviously, this is what's inside this cavern is need to know basis, and so you can absolutely, we need to get some strong arms for this equipment. But as far as entry into the cavern, that's going to have to be vetted. We can't let loose with the information of what's in here, both for reasons of security and while we're trying to figure this out. But if in fact this is the first contact of intelligent life that has produced art that could cause all kinds of existential problems for everybody who hasn't seen this.
Well, and we also don't want, no offense to our guys, they're really good workers and stuff, but we can't have a bunch of big knuckleheads contaminating the site if it turns out that this is if this is more of a scientific than site than geological, then we can't have it messed up at this point.
It's true. Dr. Monningham will smile and say Wayne had questions, but his fellow workers might not. No offense, Wayne, of course. So I suppose with that, Monningham would probably, unless there's anything else that's going to happen to try to set the stage, Monningham would be pretty intent on trying to get back to the lab and get this ball rolling. This is in her wheelhouse. She wants to know what's up.
Yeah, and since it's a ways back, is there anything else we should get our hands on? And there's going to be some scuttlebutt. So the Cowd, if you could come up with some kind of a backstory to deflect any questions from the Roughnecks when they see us with all these tractors up here and people coming and going, they're gonna, how rumors run rampant. So I don't know, maybe we can come up with a backstory.
I would probably look at DeCowd and shrug and say it shouldn't need to be more complicated than we think we've perhaps discovered another mineral deposit.
Yeah, Martin, he nods and says, I shouldn't have any trouble keeping that straight. But you said it. Roughnecks do like to run the rumor mill a little bit. And he looks over at Wayne and says, Wayne, you said one of your guys came into this cavern with you? And Wayne shrugs and nods. Yeah, one of the guys followed me in, and there were several others. Outside. They're all LaSalle Roughnecks. They're not UPP colonists, because obviously we're on day shift, and we talked about that earlier today. I took all the UPP guys off the day shift because of the heat. But, whether LaSalle or UPP, it doesn't matter. They're going to talk. It's going to get around. So, he said that makes sense if you think Mr. DeCowd here needs to do some damage control.
Wayne, did your other workers see the heads?
The guy, they all saw the one right as we entered the cavern. Only Jim saw all the others inside. He's the only one who came in with me. I already told him not to say a word to anybody, but we'll see how that goes. Those guys get a couple shots in them. Who knows?
Do me a favor. Try to keep them somewhat sober and somewhat under control, at least until I speak with Adina, and find out what we're going to do from the LaSalle side of things here. And then I'll be back in touch with you as soon as possible. I'll probably radio you from my office and have you and whoever else you have on shift come back so that we can get a unified front with this. And of course, Comrade, I'll be in touch with you as well so that we're the lines of communication are clear about our official position as well.
Okay, Doc, and before you come back to this site, if you could pop in and take a look at Billy, see how he's doing.
No problem at all.
Okay. You're essentially our main, no offense to our medic, Mr. Lacrosse, you're our main medical person, so.
I understand. No, I have no problem checking on Billy.
Oh, that's weird.
All right, so anyway, my plan, I guess, is let me just ask the group if we got to go back and collect some stuff so that we can explore the shaft and start looking at this find so the doc has some stuff to get. I want to root through stores, and we want to get lights and other stuff. Wayne, you got to go and use that lubricant and start getting that set up. Should someone should someone stay near this site and keep roughnecks out of it, or Wayne, do you think we can keep people from messing with it?
I think Colonel Sotelo will be able to get 2 of her people to stand watch outside the cavern. Isn't that correct, Colonel?
That is correct. We just need to have Wayne or somebody maybe secure the area until we can move out, contact my men, and come back again.
Wayne kind of looks at Martin DeCowd and says, "Well, one of us, or even both of us, can stay. We can all go up out of the mine in the tractor. We'll stay at the top of the mine entrance while you guys head back and collect everything you need. If that'll work." And he looks at DeCowd and then he looks at Nostromo. In the interest of cooperation between LaSalle and UPP.
I'd say let's get on with it. We just want to make sure while we're gone that no one goes in, no nosy nellies go in there and or looky-loos go in and mess with anything. So however you guys want to do it.
I agree. Let's get this.
All right, let's get going.
All righty then. So you guys climb your way back through the hole, get in the tractor, and head back to the top. We'll pull Martin off to the side here, and we'll put Wayne with him. The 2 of them staying back just to keep everybody out. And the 4 of you jump in the tractor and run back down to the down to the colony. I assume getting back to the colony in 2 turns is good for you, or if somebody wants to make a piloting roll to do it faster, I'm fine with that. You guys tell me.
Oh, there's no hurry.
Come on, I'm trying to get you guys in trouble here. No one wants to cooperate.
I just like to make piloting rolls, so no, I'm like that.
That's right. I would say 2 turns in the tractor, heading back to San Tome to the colony. That would let you guys relieve stress. 1 stress per turn. I would think the tractor running at a safe speed back towards the colony would be a safe place. So you guys can ditch your stress if you like.
Okay.
And so I'm not sure who. Well, let's see. Martin stayed back. I got multiple Martins here. I got multiple Martin DeCowds. Let's see. Who am I missing on the map? I'm missing Monahan on the map.
I don't actually see anything on the map. I just see the grid.
You know what? You just see the cover, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's because I didn't drag you over. Same thing with you, I bet, Jim.
There we go. Now I'm dragged. Be back in a second here.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yep. Sorry about that. I don't actually have a map of the mine complex itself. That's mostly theater of the mind. But I've got Wayne and Martin DeCowd's icons off to the side, just to indicate that they're back at the mine entrance. So yeah, you guys roll the tractor back pretty much into the center square of the colony, and so who's off to go do what?
Well, during our ride back to the tractor, turns. Hold on, let me 1 second. Shut up. Come here. You know what? I'm gonna type my what I was thinking about doing instead of she's gonna bother the hell out of me. So just give me 2 seconds and I'll type.
All right, so Tio, you I assume as soon as you guys got to the top of the mine where you could get a clear signal, you probably called back to your Marines back at base to tell them to get themselves ready.
Correct.
Okay. So in that regard, I imagine you're probably headed over to the UPP barracks to collect those guys?
Yes.
All right, what else do you want to do while you're over there?
Just basically gear up, give them a situation report, and make sure they've got everything they need.
Okay. You're bringing what, two of them back with you to the mine? Was that the idea?
I'll bring four of them
Bring four of them.
with
Okay.
the idea of two of them helping and two of them standing guard. So we'll bring kind of any mining or search and rescue equipment that we need with us, and then riot gear.
All right. Perfect. And all right. And Nostromo, did you type that out? I didn't see anything. Or are you still doing it? Okay.
Still doing it. One sec.
All
Almost
right.
done.
That's fine. I'll move on to Monahan. Monahan, what do you want to do?
I think I'm probably heading back to LaSalle Labs, right?
Yeah, I would imagine. So that right there is a vestibule that connects LaSalle Labs and mining. You have access to LaSalle Labs. Gould has access to LaSalle Mining. What would you like to do in the labs?
So who's this person?
That person is Nisa Toussaint. I don't speak
Toussaint.
French. Toussaint. She is basically your assistant. She's the equivalent of a master's degree, and generally helps you with whatever work you need done.
Okay. What's her first name again? Nissa?
Nisa.
Nisa? So that's the first thing I'll do is address Nisa. Nisa, we've had an interesting discovery in the mine. I'm going to need to get the lab prepped for certain kinds of analytical work. We're going to have to do some substance analysis, and I also need to take some equipment with me back down into a cavern we found beneath the mine. The site may have some archaeological or anthropological significance. We've found some sculptures down there that appear to be made by artisanal hands. So we're going.
Wow.
It could be
that
impressive.
surprises her. Yeah.
It could be significant. I need to get in touch with Adina, and I'd like it if you could gather me up, and I would start to give her a list of equipment. I need collection receptacles. I'm going to need gloves and hazardous materials protection if
You guys have two hazmat suits in LaSalle Labs.
Okay, so she'll want to keep one there for her.
Okay.
I'll take one with me. Also, specifically let her know that I'm not going to take her with me right away. I need to go down there and take a little bit of a look around and have her get things ready here. And then at some point, I'll make sure that she has access to see the site, which of course I'm sure she wants to see.
Yeah, she's very excited about that, and you know she's as you're giving her a list, she's writing things down. Not a problem, doctor. I'll get it all together. And I will. You there in LaSalle Labs, you guys have a couple of containment areas. One of them right now is full of spiders that she's been, for lack of a better word, that she's been milking.
Okay.
But you guys have two others that are empty, and they're kind of like if you think of your medical TV shows or movies with the CDC, they're kind of those plexi type.
Like a glove box?
Yeah, exactly.
Glove box. Yeah.
So, and so she's getting everything together. You can go ahead and add a hazmat suit to your inventory. It's a one encumbrance item, and that will protect you from anything biological, that type of thing. Biological, chemical to an extent, depends on what the chemical is. If it's, I don't know, a highly corrosive acid, maybe not, but.
Right.
Not that anything like that's going to happen. I don't know what everyone's worried about.
I'm sure the suit won't rip anyway.
Yeah, no chance of that happening.
Okay, so then
Go ahead.
at that point, I think if I can gather up the stuff that I need. Also, I would probably want like a lab bench down there. It just has to be a table that I can set up on. I would probably try to have the Roughnecks carry it down, but I would let Nisa know that I'm going to need something like that.
She says not a problem. I'll get. We've got a couple of these portable tables and chairs that we can use. They're not much, but they'll get the job done.
Perfect. And then with that, I need to get in touch with Adina.
Not a problem. So your office is that square corner, that solid corner in the square in the corner. So
Okay.
she's running around, grabbing stuff that you need and whatnot. So I will let you do that in a moment. She says, before you go into your office, she says, some of this heavier stuff, do you want me just to Do you want me just to set it outside so that the guys can grab it?
Yes, I'm going to contact Nostromo here shortly, and also Mr. Gould, and they are in the process of helping to arrange the transport and set up so that we can get the right lighting down there. It's very dark in the cavern, so we have some prep we need to do first. But they'll be along to collect it outside the labs is fine.
Perfect. All right. Oh well, Jim just walked away.
Yeah.
I need him for a moment.
I was going to say, if you want to shift away from me for a second, I have to feed my dog real quick.
Go ahead and feed your dog. That's fine.
So we had two of these vehicles, right?
There's
And we brought, there's two, but we were using one, but there were two in the depot, I thought.
there's actually a total of 4 in the depot.
4 in the depot. Oh.
Yeah, because well, there's a total of 4, maybe not all at one time. The colony, these have been modified to be amphibious, and the colony uses them
cool.
for fishing and shellfish catching there in the bay.
Okay.
So there's probably not 4 there at any given time. So, Jim, in regards to the message you sent me, I would say you guys probably get back to San Tome, and the colonel and the doctor head off to what they were going to do. Did you want to grab Gould before he runs off on his tasks?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm very curious.
All right. So go ahead and role play that out for me.
Sure. So, and his name, the character name is
Charles.
Charles. That's right on. I'm right on there. And so Charles, let's go into my office for a second. I wanted to ask you a couple things, if you've got a moment here.
Okay.
It's like we've been having a pretty good working relationship. With I know the UPP came in and we kind of shifted priorities there as far as the leadership goes. But I think we're in the same mindset of we want what's best for both the colony and society, right? When has LaSalle encountered something like this before that might help us understand what we're dealing with here?
Well, I personally have not. I can't. I'm sure LaSalle and its various operations has run into some kind of indigenous cultural items and whatnot. This seems to go beyond that, and I haven't personally been involved. I've spent a lot of time taking poor working colonies and mines and bringing them back to life, as it were, and bringing them up to snuff and operating efficiently. So I mostly show up on established colonies and work on bringing them back because they're not working at max efficiency. So this situation is new to me.
Completely new, and hadn't run across anything in the company archives about cultural items.
Well, I would have to look, but I generally don't focus on that.
Okay.
So I would have to. I would have to get some guidance from the company and any background on that if they have any expertise they could provide us.
Okay.
I don't know how long it would. I can send out some. I can try and contact them directly and certainly send some electronic mails, but I don't know how long it'll take them to respond.
Sure. Out of character, does a colony administrator like my guy have power to regulate communication to and from the colony?
You do. Why does my video keep going out? That is so annoying.
Yeah.
Hold on. That it
Smooth
drives me
though.
insane.
Video unless I use Microsoft Edge, which is the only thing that I use Edge for. Everything else I do is in Chrome, and all my other Chrome stuff uses my mic just fine, but I can't get it to work in Roll20 for some reason.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
funny. And I even tried going to Roll20 in Edge just to see what it did, and I can't actually get any game to load in Edge. And there goes my video again. So
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
I mean,
whatever.
Yes.
I'm just gonna have to suck up and deal with it. Nostromo, go ahead and make an observation roll. But to answer your question before I decided to try to fix my video, is that you have the ability to regulate communications to and from the colony. There are a couple exceptions, however. LaSalle has their own direct network links to LaSalle Bionational Corporate that are secured, that you do not have access to. That was part of the negotiations when the UPP took over the colony, that LaSalle, because LaSalle has proprietary and information that they don't want other people to necessarily have. The other exception is that Colonel Sotillo also has her direct link to the rest of the military, to her commanding officer,
Right.
which is of course secure, which you would expect.
and obviously that's part of the UPP, right?
Correct.
So whatever communications that I can limit coming out of the colony right now, I'm guessing communications go out every so often because no technology is perfect. So
Sure.
if I could replace it with the generic message of "Sorry for your inconvenience. We are working as hard as we can to restore your cable as soon as possible." I would like to impose that.
to us.
You're trying to prevent from the average roughneck sending a message back home to somebody type thing, right?
Exactly.
I got you. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I would say that you could definitely put those restrictions on without any trouble.
Okay, that's what I like to do.
All right, perfect. That will work.
And Street's joining us very soon.
Yeah, he sent me a message. Okay.
Is Sharif DeKalb?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So other than that, obviously I just wanted to discuss that with Gould, and it looks like he doesn't have any, at least outwardly, no outward knowledge of what's going on. So I'll exchange pleasantries so he can go on his way and
Okay.
do what he needs to do.
Perfect. All right, Gold, what do you need to do?
Okay, well, I need to hustle my butt back to mining ops and do a couple things. I want to check with Wayne on the radio. He's got the Cowd standing right with him
Correct.
to see if they want me to call or if they're going to call one of their guys to bring another vehicle out of the vehicle depot, because it looks like we're going to need a couple if we've got Marines coming and we've got all this equipment to lug and everything. I don't think one's going to do it.
Yeah, no, the tractors carry 6 people plus some cargo room.
Plus some cargo. So I think we'll need another tractor. So I'm going to touch base with Wayne. Wayne, this is Gould. Come back.
Receiving you, Gould.
Could you check with the Cowd and see what arrangements either you guys are going to arrange to have one of the guys bring another tractor out of the depot, or do you want me to do it?
10-4, 1 second. And then he comes back and he says, Mr. DeCowd said that we'll go ahead and radio in. We'll get someone to prep one of the extra tractors.
Okay. So that's good. So I'm going to head into mining ops, and I'm going to send electronically a priority message to LaSalle corporate. I know that the doc is sending a message, but I don't know if who exactly she's contacting. It might be one of her, um, it might be one of her scientific bosses or whatever. So I'm going to send a message to corporate, giving some detail of the find, but not everything. Basically, say we found some interesting.
Can I
Hey,
interject?
Sharif?
Hey guys, I'm
Yeah.
sorry I'm late
I think I
today.
did say down in the cave I'm going to contact Adina.
You did.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's right, Adina. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and make my own report of the situation and send that out. Meanwhile, then I'm going to start looking for stuff I might need. I got the warehouse there too. I'm going to start looking for flashlight, gloves. Um, um, I don't know if we'll have the need to take any samples, but I'd like to get at least um, some kind of plastic bags or something that I can carry to take samples.
Sure.
Basically, this has now become a bit of a investigation. Um, trying to think what else I might need. Is there?
Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I've got a time-sensitive text message from work.
Oh, okay.
All right. I apologize. I'm back.
Okay, and I'm assuming DeCowd's instructions to his guys to start collecting some of the relays
Yeah.
and stuff. for
Yeah.
communications.
So they, Sharif, uh, you were actually still back up at the mining complex. You're at the mine itself. You're actually right outside the mine. You're hanging out with Gould's right-hand guy, his foreman, Wayne Arpaia. You guys are basically just there making sure that none of the roughnecks or anybody comes up here trying to get in, trying to see what's going on, while everybody else ran back to collect various equipment and supplies and that type of thing. Um, and and when you guys got out of the mine, because you don't have a good radio signal way down in that cavern, as you would imagine, when you got out of the mine, you called back to a roughneck back home to get another tractor ready, as well as to get different equipment to try to set up a radio relay so that you guys could get signal, as well as a bunch of lights and that type of thing. So just to let you know what you were up to. You guys didn't do a whole
Okay,
lot of
thanks.
real exploring. You kind of made a plan, and all right. So you send that message off. Give me 1 second here. Uh, Shoot. Um, all right, so yeah, you send your email off, and I would say, and also, Andy, for the general, like you said, sampling containers and stuff like that you're grabbing, I would just put a line on your character sheet that says science stuff, and call it a point of encumbrance. Gould, if you wanted to grab a flashlight yourself, a high beam flashlight is a half slot item. I would say
Yeah.
there's definitely one somewhere in mining ops or in the warehouse. You guys have general supplies. That's not an issue, and general equipment, that type of thing.
Right.
That would be a half slot item. And Wayne, of course, told you that the lighting systems and stuff that you guys would need. You could find all that in the warehouse. So you're running around, getting all that together wouldn't be an issue. You probably get a knock on the door as a roughneck shows up to help get that stuff, because you probably don't want to lug all that stuff around yourself, right? You want some extra sets of hands.
Yeah, and I'll also By this time, we should be seeing tables and stuff showing up outside that vestibule.
Correct.
All right, I'm going to point to him and say, you need to get that stuff in the tractor with the other stuff, the lights and the other stuff.
Yep. All right. So he's going to start working on that. Um, Alrighty.
Um, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, and um, where can I? Where would I go to get plenty of bottled water and maybe some MREs because we could be there for a while.
The galley.
All right, so once I get my main stuff, I need gloves. I need something to take notes on. You know, pencil and paper is fine. And then I told you I needed some different odds and ends. And then I'm going to head to the galley. My intention is to get several cases of bottled water and some MREs to load in one of the tractors.
Okay. Yeah, water's obviously not a problem. Uh, that is no issue at all. Um, MREs, prefab meals. There's the as you go to grab those, they're under lock and key, it would seem, and that probably stems from the meeting you guys having just a couple hours ago, saying that you guys were going on rationing because of the loss of food. So you might have to get Nostromo to unlock that for you.
Yeah, I figured. So that's what I'll do. I'll go back to Nostromo and I should have thought of it before. I didn't think of it until I was in my office.
All right.
Go ahead. Can you just, 2 sentences of what you were doing? I was typing a whisper message, and I'm sorry I lost track.
Besides getting my stuff that I needed, I headed to the galley because it suddenly dawned on me that we probably need several cases of water. You know, we probably need water bottles and stuff, water rations, because people could be working in that cave for a while. It's not clear we're going to be heading back and forth to have meals and stuff. And then when I was in the galley, I noticed all the MREs were under lock and key. So I'm coming to your office to get you to allocate some MREs for use for the team who's going to be doing these investigations, so they don't have to drop what they're doing and drive. How many clicks was it? 6?
6.
Drive 6 clicks back to eat, and then drive 6 clicks back.
Absolutely. You'd have to coordinate with Colonel Sotillo to see what type of MRE allocation you can make without depleting her standard supply. I would suggest probably outfitting or resupplying on a daily basis is reasonable. As if there are fines, we're going to need physical contact daily anyway.
And I think that's fine. Obviously, we'll have people going back and forth, so if we just make it a regular thing, that's a good suggestion. So, I will hump my way to the UPP barracks to try and find the colonel.
All right. So that has you coming down this way, and there you are. There's several of her Marines that are already assembling in the center square. They've got their AKs and they're wearing armor and they look like they're ready for battle. At this point, I think they're just waiting to climb aboard and move out. Is basically what's going on. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I apologize, guys.
Are you texting with work?
Yeah.
I hate it when work gets in the way.
I know, right? It's terrible. Now I need to. There we go. All right, you make your way down to the UPP barracks, and yeah,
So, Colonel, it I suddenly thought that besides water, we should have some MREs for the investigation team down there, since we don't want everyone coming back and forth. Um, Comrade Intendant Nostromo Fidenza made a good suggestion that we could set up a regular, um, like a once a day, someone could bring supplies to the cave as needed. But in the meantime, I think we need to start off with some supplies so that people don't have to drop what they're doing to come back. We would lose time. So my understanding is you have control of the MREs, and I'm just suggesting that you allocate some MREs to the team.
That sounds good, Mr. Gold. I have no problem with that. If you can send me through the request and then I can forward it to my Marines. I assume that you and Comrade Intendant Nostromo will sort out how many MREs we need initially and all that kind of thing.
Okay. Basically, we had talked about the administrative staff going on reduced rations compared to the others. So we're thinking if we're going to do a daily thing, then we probably only need 1 day's worth of rations for the doctor. For There's going to be 4 or 5 of us there, plus your Marines. You need to decide what allocation for your Marines. So 1 day's worth of rations should be sufficient, and then we can bring more the next day, because we're not isolating people from the site. We just don't want people constantly having to go back and forth. We can have one person drive the tractor and resupply every day. With that, I noticed your guys forming up in the courtyard, and you know, it looks like these guys are ready for war, and I'm a little concerned how that's going to look to the Roughnecks. We're just trying to keep some folks out. We don't necessarily want to stress everybody out. It's just a comment.
Thank you for the comment, Mr. Gould. I will take it under consideration.
I like it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your help, Colonel. So, like I said, 1 day's rations for. Now, if I had to count, now I'm not privy to the conversation that occurred inside the labs. Speaking out of character for a moment, so
Right.
I would just assume we need 1 day's worth of MRE rations for myself, Nostromo, DeCowd.
Yep. So in
I'm
terms of
doing some counting.
yeah, in terms of game mechanics, you're basically talking about one prefab meal per person per day. You have to consume food once a day to avoid starving effects. You have to consume water once a day to afford to avoid dehydration effects. So for five PCs plus 4 Marines, you're talking 9 prefab meals plus 9 bottles of water. Now, you may want to bring additional water in case
That
there's
was
any
my plan, was
strenuous.
to bring plenty of water since it's available.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it to the colonel. I'll just say, okay, just have your folks throw 9 or 10 meals on the tractor, and that'll cover us for at least a day. Thank you very much.
Colonel Satiu will take as much water as can. We'll take 10 prefab meals, but instruct the Marines to only hand out 4. So basically, everybody's on half ration unless they can justify why they need it. So if we're just walking around investigating, half ration. Otherwise, if we're actually moving stone and that kind of thing, we can go full ration.
Okay.
Unless Comrade Intendant Nostromo instructs otherwise.
Very good. Alrighty. I think that does that put everybody in the position where they're done doing what they need / want to do and want
Just
to head
about.
back to the mine?
Not quite. I want
okay.
to. I'm going to finish sending this message, and then I have. I want to have Nisa gather up the things we need and put them outside, and I would radio over to Nostromo and let him know that he could have Martin and his men come pick the stuff up. I am going to go check on Billy.
All right.
Let me finish my message real quick here.
Yep. All right. And yeah, so the Roughnecks are all there. There's a handful. They've pulled the second tractor out. Excuse me. So you guys have 2 tractors there, and they're putting lighting equipment. They're putting extension cords. They're putting the different things that you guys are needing into the backs of the tractors, into the cargo compartments. Alrighty. And let's see here. In terms of Billy, Billy is asleep in medical. He's in one of the ICU curtains, and he is actually asleep. And the
Whoops. That's okay. That's not really significant.
No, not really. I'm sorry, I derailed my train of thought.
Sorry, I was going to see Billy in the med bay.
Correct. The anesthetic that you developed seems to have worn off more or less. At least the intoxicating aspects of it have worn off. But he has fallen asleep at this point. His vital signs have been good. Blood pressure and heart rate and whatnot have all been within an expected range based on what he's been through. And like I said, he's currently sleeping. That's the report Christopher Lacrosse gives you.
Okay. No adverse reactions to the painkiller?
Not at this time. No, everything seems to have gone smoothly. He says, I compliment you on what you accomplished in a short amount of time there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. If he needs it, keep him on a steadily diminishing dosage of the painkiller during the time that he is awake. Remind me out of character what happened to Billy. I was just coming in as we were doing that part of the recap, and I don't
remember. Long story short, a power loader fell on his leg.
Okay.
And
right. So he just had a regular kind of industrial accident.
Correct.
Okay.
Crushed his leg, and you, with some help from Gould, had to program the auto dock to
chop it off.
Yeah, to remove it. Yep.
Okay.
Chop it off. Ouch.
So, well, I guess the auto dock is a little bit nicer than that. It slices.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he has a standard kind of injury, and we've resolved it with an experimental medication. But he looks to be stable, and otherwise, he's going to be okay.
Correct.
Okay. Well, he's down a leg, but
yeah. Well,
I'm
sure the UPB can provide him a peg or something.
So it's in the budget. So I think from there I would head back out into the courtyard.
All right.
And Well, I would probably head back over toward LaSalle and just see if they're gathering everything up that they need. But I also see the soldiers and all, obviously.
Yep, absolutely. And the roughnecks are the roughnecks are loading stuff up, and it looks like you see everything that you guys had spoken about back in the cavern, as well as your additional equipment that you needed. And let's see here, one moment. And give me 1 second here. Hold on 1 second. All the intrigue. You guys are sending me so many messages. Give me 1 second. Okay, very good. Nostromo, do you have anything else that you need to do? Or does anybody have anything else they need to do?
Nope.
Not out here. I would like to go back to the site, though.
Okay. All right. So that puts everybody back in the courtyard, and we'll just delete the roughneck. Well, I don't have to delete the roughneck. Are you taking roughnecks with you? Because you get 2 tractors, so you can take a total of 12 people with the 4 Marines and you 4. That makes 8, obviously. So, were you planning to take roughnecks with you to help set up the equipment, or you guys were going to handle all that yourselves, weren't you? You didn't want to expose the roughnecks to the cavern till.
I think we mostly
necessary.
just wanted help with the haul. Yeah. Once inside, as we're setting up, I would, absent other interference, Dr. Monaghan would try to take a measure of control over getting the actual site established so she can see what she needs to see.
Okay. All right. So perfect. So you guys want to trek back to the mine then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. So.
I would have wanted to tell Nisa to. Well, we'd have to do the relay setup first, but that I would be back in touch with her directly.
Okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. You guys make it back up to the mine head where Wayne and Martin are. Martin, it's been all quiet essentially outside of the mine's basically in a jungle, but beyond that, no one is. There's certainly been no one who has come up to the mine. You guys have just been standing there hanging out for probably close to an hour as everybody did everything they needed to do. Wayne pipes up and says, if we put one of our relays here for the radio system, we should be able to, if necessary, we may have to put another one down at the end of the tunnel, but that should be all we need to do to make sure we have communications back to the colony.
Can you make sure after we're set up that Nisa back at LaSalle Labs has a channel that I can communicate with her directly on?
He says, yeah, I can do that. Easy
Appreciate
enough.
it.
I guess I flubbed when we were back at base. I realized I don't have a flashlight, and I don't think anybody except one person has one. So that would have been something we would
I
definitely
picked up
want
a
to grab.
flashlight, so
Did you?
Yeah, Gould grabbed one, but I mean, I'll let you. I'll let
Martin
you.
DeCloud has one
flashlight.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, he
it's
does.
just-
Yeah, Martin has one.
all right. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll let you retcon a flashlight. Power 5, Power 5 half slot item. I'm not too worried about that. You're not asking for a rocket launcher. You're asking for a flashlight,
No.
for God's
Yes.
sakes.
What's the encumbrance on a flashlight?
Ask
Half
for a
item.
rocket launcher. Ask for a rocket launcher.
Well, I also forgot the rocket launcher that I had underneath my bed. It's my personal item that gives me some safety.
Yeah.
feelings with
I think
safety.
it stands to reason that Monaghan would want one, but I don't think I can actually carry it. Although, once we get down into the mine, I can put some stuff down.
That's true.
Like, I don't have to carry the science equipment around. I can set some of it up,
Speaking of which, I just realized something. I made a major mistake when I wrote this. I never assigned signature items to the characters.
Correct.
I wondered if maybe it was just me.
No, I never assigned a signature item. So, you guys can think on that. Figure out. You know a bit about your characters. Figure out what their signature item might be.
Okay, I'll take the little rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take a flashlight.
Yeah. Flashlight is my signature item. All right.
I do always have one.
Yeah, that's right. Who wants to do Who wants to make the heavy machinery roll to set up the comm system relay outside the mine?
I have a heavy machinery of 3.
Pretty
Puts me
good.
in the running.
I've got 5 dice.
3 plus, what is the relevant?
Strength.
Oh, so you add them together. So I guess I
Strength
got
and heavy machinery.
7.
Wow, that's
That's
good.
pretty good. Maybe I should do it, huh?
Yeah, I think that makes you the
Yeah.
guy, and Wayne's going to help you, so gain a bonus die for that. And
Yeah.
Yep. All right, very good. So you have 3 successes, which gives you 2 stunts.
I'll just bank one for the later thing we might end up setting up. Or is
Okay.
this the later thing? We've
No,
got the
this
one
is
at the mouth of
first
the
one.
cave.
So
too.
yeah, you
Okay.
can bank one for the second relay, just an auto success for that, and you still have a stun after that as well.
I'll just do it faster, I guess.
Okay, that's fine. Do it in half the time. That will be just fine. All right, so that is all. That is set up and operating perfectly, and then after that, you guys just drive your way down into the mine.
Yeah.
All right. It's a little claustrophobic with 2 tractors down there. I like it. I like it. It's a little claustrophobic with 2 tractors down there, and of course the tunnel's not large enough to drive side by side, so you're driving in single file to hide your numbers. And
Do these tractors burn fossil fuel or are they electric?
my gut reaction is that they're electric. The fuel system of vehicles in Alien is very rarely explained.
I know.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we can breathe.
Yeah. No, I would imagine that they're electric.
Figure a lot more people would be dead in the mines by now if they weren't.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And not to discount the value of oil. Oil is obviously still extremely valuable in across the galaxy, because I'm sure there's still some degree of fossil fuel engines out there. But if nothing else, for synthetic purposes and that type of thing. I'm going to reconnect real quick.
I'll lend you all based around a petrol refinery and drilling station in the oceans. Somebody, it was unpublished, but it was a free league thing. Somebody out there still uses oil.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there was the whole oil wars that happened really in the years leading up to Destroyer of Worlds, which takes place in late 2183, I think. So, oil is still very valuable. It just does too much, if nothing else. All right, so you make it down to the end of the tunnel, and of course, DeCoud and Wayne set up the second relay so that you guys should have perfect radio contact all the way back to anyone at the colony that you need.
Okay, while they're doing that, Doc, show us where you'd like some of these lights set up and where you want your work tables.
Okay. So I would like to have the work tables nearby, but decently away from the fountain and the channel that it flows through. So in the same chamber, but if I can get them 15 or 20 feet away, that
Gotcha.
would be ideal. I'd like to have light on the fountain itself. Let's set one up leading down the channel, which I agree we should probably research next, well before we collect any samples or anything. Let's try to get a better sense of the space. And then for now, let's just try to set one up on the edge perimeter of the room to get as much flood as we can. I don't know how much brightness we'll actually get out of it, but let's get something on the main source of the substance, something on the channel direction that we're going to walk. I don't know how far we'll get lighting from it, and then something to try to get the rest of the room at least a little brighter.
All right. Well, if is it DeCoud and Arpaio are setting up the relays?
Yep.
Yeah. So while they're doing that, I'm going to jump in and start setting up lights, and anybody else can help.
Yeah, I don't imagine that I don't imagine that I need to make you make a heavy machinery roll to set up lights.
And tables. Yeah.
Yeah, and to to plug in an extension cord seems like it should be a pretty easy thing, right? So that shouldn't be a problem. The four Marines what's the plan with the four Marines, Sotillo?
They are basically helping making the camp currently.
Okay. Are all four down in the cavern with you guys, or did you
Yes.
leave two? Okay, all right, perfect. I was just trying to get a sense of where everybody's at.
All four are there currently. Then they're helping us make camp. After that, two of them will basically be on guard, and the other two will go with us if we start moving in somewhere.
Okay, perfect, perfect. All right, not a problem. All right, so this should all be fairly easy to do. Get everything set up. I imagine you guys can get all this put together, in the space of probably 20 minutes. It's a pretty easygoing thing. Wayne runs the cords from the power sources out in the actual tunnel into the cavern so that you guys have your light. Everything plugged in, you get good illumination. All things considered, it's a pretty big cavern, but you shouldn't need any flashlights by any means while in the main cavern itself at this point, unless you're trying to take a very close look at something. So that is easily accomplished. And then it's a question of what the next step is.
Well, Doc, you might want to test your radio relay.
Yeah, let me check in with Nisa. I will attempt to raise her on the radio.
All right. After just a moment, yeah, she comes on loud and clear. Yes, Dr. Monahan, I hear you just fine. I didn't quite expect to hear from you so quickly, but yeah, I can hear you.
We're setting up pretty efficiently down here. I'm glad you can hear me. Just stand by for further communication. I just wanted to make sure the channel was clear.
Yes, doctor, no problem.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all right. I was going to ask about something, but it's a little bit late for that. I was wondering about having some kind of like body camera, but I don't know exactly what my science equipment includes or what that would take up. It occurred to me that later, after the fact, that I might want to pipe video back to Nisa, but yeah.
So if the Colonel and DeCoud are not otherwise occupied, I'd like to gather those three, and I think you said it was a corridor going to the south.
Yep, there is a leaving the cavern. Yeah, there's a passage or a tunnel that heads to the south. There's a walkway that's about a meter wide, and right next to it is the stream of this oil-like substance and the passageway. From the lights you've set up, you can tell the passageway heads south for maybe 10 meters before it bends off to the east in darkness.
Okay. Yeah. So Administrator Nostromo is going to collect the Colonel and DeCoud and let Dr. Moynihan know that we are going to take a look down the corridor, but we are not going to go out of sight. So the three of us are going to head off that way.
All right. Not a problem. And maybe I should have made a map for this, but oh well, that's fine. All right, so you head off towards that direction. And obviously you've got some light going into the corridor from the light stanchions that you've set up, but it gets dark down that passage pretty quickly.
And using the flashlights, so I
sure.
guess you have to make a power roll, right?
Go ahead and make your power roll. Now you're good to go there. Um, so the three of you looking down that passageway, go ahead and make observation rolls. All right, Stromo's got 2, Sotillo's got 1. Sorry, you might have missed this, Sharif. That you're with the two of them, so go ahead and make an observation roll. You guys went and you were peering down the passageway going south.
Thank you.
No problem. Which I guess that would probably put you over here, right? Not that it really matters.
Wow,
Man,
that's pretty impressive.
yeah, you guys are doing a great job. So,
4, 3 is 7, and 4 is 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes on 11 dice.
That's what happens when progressives work together.
Oh, jeez. Uh, Gould, are you making an attempt to hide that fact or no?
Nope.
Okay.
Just walking along behind.
That's fine. So, obviously the three of you notice that Gould is kind of approaching you guys from behind, having just set up a light probably on the southern side of the cavern, looking down this tunnel. Again, your flashlight beam penetrates the darkness to some extent to the south before the tunnel just bends away to the east. It's you're not sure if this is, well, and I use the word tunnel, but or passage, but you're not sure which it is. You're not sure if this is naturally occurring or not. The floor is smooth. It's stone, but it's smooth. But the walls and the ceiling are it's irregular in terms of its shape, like a cave might be. It's not perfectly round, but at the same time, it appears that the walls and the ceiling are made not of stone, but of some sort of metal, and it has kind of a ribbed look about it, which is disconcerting. It's almost like you're on the inside of a rib cage. But it's and there are areas that the ribs kind of flow together and they're wider and narrower, creating dark alcoves in the ceiling and the walls. There there is some there are a couple spots where tubes run across through the passageway up on the wall perpendicular to the ribbing, if that makes sense. A to your practiced eye, it almost looks like maybe a power conduit or something like that might have been if you were on a ship. It's very strange, but this stream of black fluid about 2 feet wide just continues along with the walkway to the east.
I say we forge forward to see what's down that hallway. So I'm going to go ahead and move.
All right,
that
very good.
direction.
So you start walking that direction. All right, Gould, are you following along?
I am. I have
All
my
right.
flashlight on.
Perfect. So Tio and Decal, you guys doing anything in additional besides following?
I'll just whistle to the Marines and flag one of them to follow us.
All right,
Basically, tell them to take up the rear
perfect.
behind Gould.
All right,
And I'm just glassing things with my flashlight here.
Let's see. That's Nostromo. Where's
Yeah,
Gould?
I've got my flashlight too.
Yeah, I had Nostromo do a power roll. If you two would do a power roll
Yep.
as well. I imagine you're probably going single file like that.
I've got 0 power for my.
Oh, put yours is the armor mounted light, so put a 4 power in there.
Thank you.
Yep,
And mine's a handheld flashlight. What would the power be?
5.
Okay.
And Decal, your roll came up blank too. There it goes. Okay, so wow, yeah, flashlights are all Man, that's a lot of dice to have no one lose any power from their batteries. That's unfortunate.
Because we just started to use them.
That's right. That's right. As you
Duracell.
as you as you traverse this passageway, it it continues as it started with with the metal walls and ceiling and with the bizarre ribbing effect of the way it's put together. This was clearly built. This it could not possibly be naturally occurring because you've got some sort of alloy metal that's been placed here in a particular way. As you continue around the bend, you immediately on the left side come up to what you could only describe as a door. It is on the left side of the passageway, which means the stream of black fluid is between you and the door, but the path that you're walking on has a stone bridge across it to the door.
So
And the passageway continues going east, by the way.
so this liquid obviously isn't by mistake. They built a bridge to get over it.
Correct.
Wherever they is, and the door, does it have any sort of handles, openings? It's just a square.
You can make an
Right.
observation roll since you asked the question. Marty's RPG rules: he who asks gets to roll.
Yeah.
All right. So what's that?
I said that'll teach you.
Yeah, that's
Open
right.
your mouth.
The door is there. It's very unlike any door that you've ever seen. It's definitely made of some sort of metal. It doesn't have anything to indicate how it opens or any power of any kind. It seems to have, I would say, carvings, but it's made out of metal, so obviously it's not a carving. But it seems to have some sort of writing or hieroglyphics emblazoned on it. And just to the right of the door, there is a recessed alcove, not very tall, maybe about a foot tall and 8 inches wide. And inside that alcove is some sort of, I can't explain it. It's some sort of egg-like shaped. It looks just like a chicken's egg, but it's bigger. It fills the whole alcove, and it's just kind of a dullish gray. Looks like it might be kind of gelatinous.
And that's on the other side of the door?
It's
if
just
the door's
to the-
on the left, then
Yeah, it's just to the right of the door.
So door on one side of the slime and alcove with egg on the other side.
Oh no, the alcove's on the same side as the door. It's just to the right of the door.
Okay.
It's
How
in the
wide
wall.
is it? How wide is the passage?
You mean the bridge?
The whole passage.
Oh, the whole passage. The whole passage itself is about 2 meters wide.
Okay. All right. Does the egg thing, does that look like a statue? You said it was gelatinous.
With the way your light shines on it, it looks gelatinous or somehow biological.
Oh, great. Okay. And nothing with the door indicating that it can be opened by conventional means, right?
No. I mean, you could. There's nothing that you see that looks like it opens it. I mean, you could try to have somebody cut through it or something along those lines.
And it's metal.
Correct.
And everything else is either stone or this weird material.
Correct.
Any idea, DeCoud?
Just don't touch anything.
Well, I was hoping to touch the door to push it open.
I taste it.
I taste it.
Don't lick it again.
And you know, fuck it. I'm going over to the door and I'm gonna put my hands on it and just to see if it's the same temperature and if there's any movement at all.
It
Well, there
is.
you go,
It's
touching it.
there you go. It's very cool to the touch. You know, you are underground, so the ambient temperature down here is probably
Okay.
45, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and it matches seems
The
to match the
environment.
temperature of the air. It's very cool to your touch.
Yeah, and the hieroglyphs on them. You think they etched into the metal, or are they like a laser mark, or
It's hard to tell without. I don't know that your character has the would have the knowledge to make that determination, if that makes sense.
But it's
okay,
Um,
not. But it's not like it's painted on or it's a
no,
sticker.
no, it's definitely it's the markings, or shall we say hieroglyphics, for lack of a better word, are they as you touch the door, you can feel this. They are raised in relief from the door a couple millimeters.
okay.
So
Um,
perhaps maybe cast in when the door was made.
right. I think I'm gonna just, for the hell of it, I'm gonna bring out my motion tracker and fire it up, just because there's some sort of sentient race made a door here, and don't know what's behind it. I don't know if the motion tracker will help, but I'll turn that on.
Okay. Make a power roll for your motion tracker. I forgot you had that.
I do. Very excited. Been waiting to use it. Let's see, power roll, right?
Okay, so drop your. I guess you're gonna have to make a notation on your character sheet for the separate power supplies between the flashlight and the motion tracker. So the motion tracker drops one.
Okay.
All right. So the yeah, you fire that thing up as you put it, and you look down at the screen. It's just doing the tick, tick, tick. There's nothing to indicate any motion. There might be a beeping behind you as the other Marines and Monahan and Wayne are doing some things back there. But yeah, I mean, you would immediately, I would imagine, dismiss that as just those guys.
And nothing in the direction of the egg.
No.
Okay. Powered off.
All right.
All right. So there's nothing moving as far as I can tell.
Have
What do
you
you-
tried knocking?
I shrug and I knock to see what happens.
Really nothing happens except in your experience when you knock on steel, for example, or most metals, you'd expect to hear a degree of ringing, some vibration, that type of thing, and this is it, it's almost sound deadening when you knock on it, and certainly nothing to indicate that anything echoed behind the door or even in the hallway itself, the passageway itself.
So either really thick or somehow insulated. That's interesting. Um, do we have a radio back to? Well, is Dr. Moynihan with us? No, Dr.
No,
Moynihan.
she's just up the passage though.
Yeah, right. We don't have radios between each other, right?
No, I think everyone who has a radio. Well, Wayne's got a radio, and he's
Yeah.
there with her.
Yeah, but I don't have a radio. Okay.
I have a radio.
We also have a very fit Marine with us.
That's true.
We do, Colonel. Anything in your expertise that might handle how to either open this door or assess the next step?
Anything I have to open this door, I don't think you will like, especially not.
I have a maintenance jack
Not
with
tomorrow.
me that might be able to force it if we want to go that far.
I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
I've been around a lot of places, and opening doors, usually there's a hatch, a knob, an activation pad, a terminal, and a lot of times the pad or the terminal are right next to the door. This egg is thing is right next to the door. Do you think that opens the door?
Touch it.
Anything can be possible. Having a potentially biological as a trigger for a door. That's interesting. Maybe we should get the doc to check this out. I'm gonna ask to radio back to have the doctor come up to our location.
All right. So Wayne gets that call, and he looks at you, Monahan, and says, "Well, you heard it. I guess they're asking for you down the hallway."
So I'll start to head over toward where the the channel bends away. Can I see down the hallway at least well enough that I don't need a flashlight to get down there?
Yeah, I mean, they've set up lights in the main cavern area with one that gives some light down the hallway,
Right,
and then
yeah.
they're just down past the bend. You could probably see their flashlights, flashing around the passage. So yeah, I would say it's not you would see without any trouble.
Okay. So as I start to head for the passageway, I'll turn back and look to everybody who's still gathered around in the main chamber and just say, it's critically important that you not touch or disturb anything in the scene. Please be as still as possible.
The two Marines that are there, or there's three Marines there. Sorry, the three Marines that are there. They kind of look at you, and they look at each other, say something to each other in Russian, kind of look back at you. One shrugs, and then he hits his radio, and Sotillo, he calls you, and he's Sotillo, he calls you, and he's speaking Spanish. He says the scientist has come down to you. We're still up here. What do you want us to do, sir?
I'll just reply in time to guard the camp.
Affirmative. All right, so Maham, you get down there and you see they've stopped at this door, on the other side of the stone bridge that goes over the stream, with the gray egg-like thing that's set into the alcove on the wall, and of course the passageway continues to the east in darkness. So yeah.
Okay, so I'll come down and just start with found something, gentlemen.
We did. We have this seemingly door with no handle and archaic or script that we don't understand, and we have this egg which might be biological, and it was suggested by Mr. Gould that perhaps the egg might be the trigger for the door, but it does look biological to me. Have you seen anything like this?
I haven't, but I can take a look at it if you give me a few minutes.
Yes, please.
To use analysis.
Yeah.
Spend a turn studying a strange or alien artifact or creature. I'm presuming that this
That qualifies
for that.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to make an observation roll, and I get to ask questions per success.
You do. Very good.
Look at that. So I'm going to push that.
I'm shocked. You don't need to push it,
But I should.
but you should. I agree.
Okay, 2 successes.
2 successes. Alrighty.
So
You get to, for every success, you get to ask one of those questions.
is it dead or alive?
It's definitely, even though it looks biological, it is not alive.
Okay. What is its purpose?
As you begin to look at it, you're thinking that what Gould surmised might be correct. It's not, the egg itself is not very large. It's about 8 or 9 inches tall, 6 inches in diameter at its thickest point. and it is physically attached to something at the bottom of the alcove.
Okay.
You can't really see what because it's flush with the bottom of the alcove, but you're thinking Gould is probably right that it might actually be the controls for the door.
And by physically attached, you mean it looks like it's either carved from or welded to
Yeah,
whatever base
it
it's
is.
sitting on?
Yeah, it is. It is somehow attached to the stone in the alcove itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll turn back and say, Mr. Gould, I think you might be onto something here, but I'm not entirely sure. I do know that this doesn't actually appear to be alive. It may be organic. I think everyone around me can lose a point of stress if they have one for me having figured something out about this thing.
That's correct. With analysis, with a success, everyone gets to lose stress, which I think you're all stress-free at the moment anyhow.
I have one from pushing my roll, but
Oh,
I don't
that's
think it
right.
goes down for me for this.
Correct.
It says it says all PCs in short range. I don't know if that includes me.
I'll give it to you. That's fine.
Okay.
And in all fairness, all the other guys probably should have gained a point of stress for this discovery anyway, but it doesn't matter because that gets rid of it. So.
Right. Well, I suppose that puts us at a bit of a crossroads about whether we want to investigate trying to open this door, or if we should first go back and see what we can learn about the main chamber.
And the passage continues to the east as well.
Since we're uncertain what this does, and it's inadvisable to tamper with it before we have some clearer picture of what's going on, why don't you gentlemen shoot us down the rest of the corridor, and we'll try to get through the door later.
I would have to respectfully disagree. We need to find out what's behind this door. Out of character, I would say, like we do in the Army, when there's a chemical attack, we take the lowest private and take his mask off, but to see if it's over. But but I will. Is the doc wearing? Doc's not wearing the hazmat suit, right?
No, I have it back in the main chamber.
Does the egg look as if it could be manipulated with something besides the human hand to trigger whatever
You
trigger?
want to poke it with a stick?
I wouldn't mind poking it with a stick.
I probably have some kind of probe and tongs, I would imagine, with my lab gear.
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah, so I think I would suggest that to the doc that we need to keep moving on the discovery of this. Parallel efforts would be identifying what this substance is. Colonel, I would also suggest that if you have a Marine or two available, that you secure some kind of boards or covering so that somebody doesn't accidentally fall into this river of whatever this river is while they're working.
That's a good idea. I will say I'm willing to go as far as investigating what we can do with it, but if we come to a point where it seems we may have to physically damage whatever it is we're looking at here, I would have to intervene on behalf of LaSalle.
I understand.
We can't contaminate the site unnecessarily.
Absolutely. For the glory.
Yes, for the glory.
So let me understand what's happened so far. The dock and Decaud are across the bridge in front of the door. Is that correct?
The dock for sure. I think it's the dock in Nostromo.
Oh, Nostromo. How much room? I don't know how much room there is
The
in front of this door.
Oh, the door itself is, and that's my apologies, my fault. The door itself is quite large. It is a good 3 meters tall, and about 2 meters wide. And
So is there a little? Does this bridge go across, and then is there another, like a ledge you can stand on, or is the door right in front of the bridge?
No, there's a very slight ledge, maybe 6 inches or so, that the bridge connects to. And the bridge is as wide as the door, being a couple meters wide, so 2 people can stand side by side on the bridge.
Has anybody taken a sample of this black goop back to the lab?
No, that's on the agenda. We're in the beginning stages of setting up the field collection stuff for that.
Yeah, we called the doc before she was ready.
Yeah, I was getting that together and then got this call to come down and see about the door.
There, I assume. Bob?
I is back.
Oh, okay. Bob has a tendency when we're bantering just to sit there and be very quiet. We never really know if he's there.
I'm just taking notes for the UPP and reporting back.
These LaSalle guys are standing around talking about American baseball. All right. All right. So, what's the plan, folks?
Well, I suppose I want to go back to the lab table and collect whatever utilities I need to come back and check out this egg.
All right. Not a
And
problem.
My goal would be to try to investigate the egg as closely as possible to see what's up with it. If I have to take, let me put video back on. I just didn't want to be chomping at you guys. If I have to take the tongs and kind of grab at the top of like one of the lips and start to peel back a little bit, I guess that's where I'd start.
Okay.
But before I try to move any part of it, I would probably take whatever kind of little probe I have and just poke at it around, see what it's actually like, what kind of texture it has, if it's soft, etc.
Yeah, it is definitely soft and squishy as you begin to poke at it. Where you apply pressure, it sinks in. You know, as you apply pressure, it sinks in relatively reasonably into the egg. But the further you push, the more resistance you get as the surface of this thing stretches in and stretches against it.
So it feels kind of rubbery.
Yeah, it's very rubbery. Like I said, almost gelatinous. Doesn't seem to be any sort of mechanism that you're familiar with.
Can I cross the bridge and get a gander, or is 3 a crowd?
Well, everyone could make mobility rolls and see if they fall off.
Oh,
I would say,
God.
yeah, the bridge is a couple meters wide, so 2 is pretty easy. I think 3 would start to get a little.
All right. And I'm staying where I am because my agility is for crap, and I don't want to fall off.
All right. I'm not sure what I would have to roll to try to investigate using it, or if at all. But if I take the tongs, does the top of it seem like it would peel open? Does it? I don't want to touch it directly.
No, it's one single object. It doesn't look like it opens in any way. There's no seams or anything that you can see.
Well, Mr. Gould, I think you might be right about this opening the door, but I'm not entirely sure how to open the door with it, and I'm not sure what else to do with it to avoid damaging it.
How about if I just touch it?
I would be against that. I would strongly recommend against that.
But you're not the boss of me, Doc.
Both for the integrity of the mission and also for your own personal safety.
Nostromo pipes up and says, well, the importance of this find needs to be preserved as best as possible. We have limited time and resources to explore this, so I believe that is appropriate for Mr. Gould to attempt to touch it.
Very well.
All right.
I will step back across the bridge and out of the way.
Me too.
All right.
Mr. Gould?
Good, because thanks. I didn't want to
Andy
fall off the bridge.
gets his bucket of popcorn and.
All right, I'm going to cross the bridge. I've got my work gloves. I'm going to put a work glove on my right hand.
Okay.
And I'm going to lay my palm completely on the egg.
Okay. It is. It definitely gives under your touch, and it is squishy. You don't get a sense of what the surface feels like, obviously, because you have a glove on. But it definitely, as you apply pressure, it definitely gives, but it doesn't do anything.
If I squeeze it,
No, it does not seem to do anything.
all right, I'm going to take my glove off
Hmm.
and I'm going to grasp it with my bare hand.
It is. It's. It's got a very rubbery, almost slimy feel to it, even though it's not wet. And as you grasp it with your bare hand, it doesn't seem to do anything. And you don't really. It doesn't feel like anything you've ever felt before. It doesn't feel like a mechanism. It doesn't. It doesn't feel like it has moving parts in it or anything. It's just there.
Can I bend it? Can I, if I grasp the top of the egg, can I move it left or right, almost like a joystick? Does it move?
Yeah, you can manipulate it. The further you move it, it because of its own elasticity, it kind of resists you. But yeah,
But nothing's
Try
happening.
and remove it.
but nothing is happening. I'm sorry. What did you say, Sotillo?
Try and remove it. Pick it up.
I was going to say, can you see how it's attached now? Now that you're messing with it?
Let me do an observation. We'll see.
You're going to have to edit this out, Marty, but I can't keep this in. This all sounds like my very first junior high dance.
God. Oh my God.
Mistakes were made.
um, Look at the big brain on Charles. It is the bottom of the egg seems to be attached to the alcove in such a way that as you kind of are, yeah, I imagine in my mind's eye you're kind of moving it back and side to side to see where it meets, and it looks like this gelatinous material that makes the egg actually fits down into a small circular opening. Um, that so yeah.
The opening is smaller than the diameter of the egg.
Correct. The opening itself, the egg that at its widest point towards the base is about 6 inches in diameter, whereas this opening looks like it's a little hard to tell obviously because you can't get a good look at it, but it might be an inch and a half. And this gelatinous material of the egg, like I said, kind of flows down into that hole.
All right. Well, obviously, I'm having no luck here, folks. I don't know.
So
It's not keyed to touch. It's not keyed to temperature. That's what I was thinking about taking my glove off. Is maybe the warmth of my hand. Maybe it's keyed genetically to some particular entity, not us. I don't know.
I have a hypothesis.
Maybe it's keyed to light.
I have a hypothesis.
That's an
but
interesting idea.
Go ahead, Doctor.
Hit us, Doc.
may stand in opposition to what the Commandant is hoping to do here. It's possible, of course, that the liquid may have some effect on the lock, if that's what we're looking at here. But I think that we're very preliminary to test something like that. And at this point, I think it's best if we continue down the passage and try to get a sense of what the space is before we continue to manipulate this and potentially damage it. At this point, I think we've gone far enough with our own hands to see that we're not going to get through it with our own hands. And I would be extremely hesitant to experiment with whatever this substance is before we've done any analysis. I still have work to do back in the main chamber, but I'd be happy to accompany you further down the hallway to see where we are, at least, before we proceed any further.
Well, Colonel, what do you think about leaving your Marine here to make sure nothing comes out of that door while we're going down the hall?
That is why we brought them.
The red shirt guy.
Yes. So, yeah, Doctor, I agree. Let's do that. out of character. I for some reason I had visualized this was a dead end. I didn't realize there was.
Oh yeah, yeah.
further-
It continued on.
Yeah, that's what I was suggesting earlier. Was if we can't get through the door right away, let's look down the hallway first. That's all I was trying to say. Aside from that, was the only delay I was trying to cause.
Yeah, I didn't visualize
the door. It was just there's more space that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we need to move on and post a guard here, and then we can return to
I
this.
forgot I had music for this.
So I would probably get in line behind, Gould, any Marines, people with lights, and weapons.
Yep. So I'm gonna start moving now. We have a consensus among the leadership. Let's move down the hall.
All right, so you guys move down the hall, and I think it's been long enough that anyone with a flashlight on probably should make another power roll on their flashlight. Ooh. DeKalb loses 2 points of power, so Tio loses 1. And as you continue down the passageway, and this black liquid flows, go ahead and make observation rolls for me. Wow. Whoa, whoa.
What is this? Something's wrong with roll 20.
The dice giveth, the dice taketh away. Anybody want to push their roll?
Yeah, I'll push my roll.
All right.
And I'm pushing mine too.
All right, very good. All right, Gould with a success.
Much better.
Monahan with 2. And Nostromo with 1. So, I'm going to share a piece of extra information. But as you walk down the hall, Monahan, in my mind, you're in the kind of the rear of the group, like you said, behind someone with guns, and you kind of glance back for a moment, and you get a look. And while the stream continues down the hall next to the walkway, it also looks like that underneath the bridge there was a branch that the black fluid was going down underneath the bridge, crossing the door. So and that fluid was going that direction. So basically, it almost looks like it's exiting. It's exiting from the main channel into whatever room is behind that door. If that makes sense.
So wait, you're saying as we get to the end of the hall, there's another door, or
well, no. That was the first door. You saw that as you were walking by. As you were walking by, and you kind of glanced back and got an angle at it, you could see that the black fluid looks like it's actually disappearing into another channel underneath the bridge, underneath the door. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
I understand.
Yeah, I'm not explaining it quite.
Are you saying that the fluid and the channel took a turn at the door that we passed?
No, the main channel with the fluid continues following the passageway, but where that door is and the bridge goes over it, it looks like the fluid is also escaping through a channel right underneath
like
the
a
door.
T in the channel where it continues and flows into the room.
You got it.
Yep.
You got
Okay.
it. All right.
But
So
what's
We
down
couldn't
there?
see it because of the bridge. Is that right?
Correct. That's exactly
So
right.
we can only see that that little branch of the channel begins. We can't see any part of how it attaches to the wall or what happens.
No, it just
Okay.
disappears in.
All right, now I
somewhere.
understand.
Yep.
Is it following gravity and physics, or is it going uphill?
Yeah, are we able to tell that if there's any elevation here?
That was a fair question. No, it's pretty flat. It's pretty flat. If there's you're probably on a flat plane. You'd have to put a level down to be sure, but it certainly doesn't seem to be going up or downhill.
Is there any visible flow of to it?
Oh, it's visibly following the channel. It's flowing through the channel.
It's moving, but it's not tilted.
Correct.
And so it's moving without the aid of gravity.
Correct.
So at this point, I think it's safe to go.
Wait. You've got fluid coming in from the big mouth
Correct.
into the channel.
Correct.
So there will be a slight elevation change in the surface of the fluid. That's what's driving it.
Well, it pours down into the pool, which has been level the whole time with the
Right.
channel.
I think at this point it's safe to draw the conclusion that we're looking at some kind of closed pressurized system. So it's in a loop, and somewhere along the line it's got a motor that pumps it so that it flows a certain way, because, or at least that's what it looks like from here.
It could be, there could be a reservoir at some elevation above the head, so that gravity,
That's a possibility,
gravity causes it to come down. Who knows?
Sure.
Until we find the source, we wouldn't know.
So as you guys continue down the hallway, and you shine your flashlights ahead of you, you start to realize that there is up ahead a source of very soft light that is not coming from your flashlights. As you approach, you realize that the passageway / tunnel that you're in is just coming to a halt, just a stop at a dead end. And on the left of that dead end is another one of these doors. Okay, with another of these, the bridge crossing the channel of black stuff. This second door also has the alcove just to its right with the egg-like thing, and that is actually what's providing the light. The egg itself is glowing with a very soft pinkish red light.
Can I analyze it?
You can analyze it.
All right, I'm gonna.
I don't know. Can you?
I'm gonna make the roll. At any rate, we'll find out what the dice say.
Right. Yeah, and I was going to give everyone a point of stress because this is something new and different. Even though it's the same, it's different. But that's fine. I'll let you. Your roll's your successful analysis is going to drop the stress anyway, so it's all good.
Okay.
I'm ecstatic.
What's that?
I'm ecstatic.
I think I am going to push this roll all the same for additional successes.
Okay.
I keep the ones that I have already, right?
Correct. So
Okay.
just put a -2 on the modifier and roll the rest of the dice.
Got it. All right,
More
so I've come up with 3 successes.
You have 3 successes on your analysis roll.
Is it human or alien? No, I'm only kidding. All right, so let's start with, how does it work? This seems to be the mystery that we cannot solve.
You are fairly certain that it is probably responsive to pressure changes. As you, I don't know if I can explain that without you actually reaching out and touching it. But
am I kind of getting the sense that the last one that we looked at was in some way not turned on?
Correct, or not functional in some way.
So then I will go to, what problems could it cause?
You're not sure that it would cause any problems. This one looks exactly like the last, in terms of how it's in the alcove and how it's attached, except you just get the sense that this one is working, whereas the last one wasn't, or like you said, maybe wasn't powered. But beyond, if it does what you think it's going to do, which is open the door, you don't know what's behind the door.
And so I suppose I'll finish up with, how old is it? Am I able to get a rough idea? Maybe a general sense looking around at my surroundings and then this thing, how old this place is?
Without doing more tests, it's going to be hard, but, the doing some basic thought processes, this cavern is obviously, probably hundreds of thousands of years old in and of itself. The planet's estimated at being 3 billion years old, but this actual cave and this device itself, I don't know that you can necessarily answer that question because you don't have enough data.
Okay.
But it's unlike it is. I will tell you, it is unlike anything that you've ever seen before.
Okay. I'm going to reach out and touch it then.
All right. As
Well,
you,
I would start with the probe, but I probably wouldn't shift it back to gold this time if it comes to grabbing it.
Gotcha. The it reacts to the probe much the same way as the last one did, in that the surface gives, and as you push, the surface tension increases and resists, but there's no actual change in regards to using the probe or the tongs on it.
Nostromo's gonna say, "Whoa, hold on one sec. Uh, this door might be holding something behind it, even if it's just 1,000 of those little fucking spiders. I don't want them running out at us. So let me try my motion tracker just to be sure."
Okay. Yeah, make a power roll on your motion tracker. All right, you're good. It is ticking quietly. There is no motion.
Nothing. So either nothing there or it can't penetrate whatever this barrier is. Doctor, proceed.
I will reach out and wrap my hand around the egg.
All right. As you do, the egg, which is the same ambient temperature of the whole cavern, very cool to the touch, you can feel it start to warm a little bit under your hand, and the pinkish coloration of it begins to shift, starting from where your hand touches it, and it is a very soft light green, pushes the pink out of the egg, is the best way to put it. It just absorbs it and makes it goes away. There's a rumbling sound, and this huge door starts to lift. Not very quickly. But it is lifting upward.
I would probably stand back and kind of say, Colonel Sotillo.
I'll shine my flashlight into the opening as it gets bigger.
I would make way for somebody to,
All right. Where is that? Okay, there we go. As it lifts and you shine your light in, there is a massive room, and there's kind of a rush of air out at you guys as the door opens up. It's got an odd, almost sterile smell to it, which is very strange in a place like this, to be sure. This maybe 10-15 meters in, you see nothing but rubble, just rock. It looks like this cavern has had a major cave in at some point. However, standing throughout the middle of the room, and there's some more that are peeking out from under the rubble, probably cracked and crushed. There's about 20 of these guys. Everyone see that image?
yes.
Yeah. There's about 20 of these guys standing throughout the room.
Are these carvings similar in nature to the carvings on the doors?
They are.
Has the cave-in damaged a number of them?
I would say make an observation roll. No successes. Would you like to push your roll?
Sure. What's a little stress in
Why
life?
not? Yeah, and gain a point of stress because none of you have ever seen anything like this before.
Why not? Wow.
Anyone
No,
else care to think
Nostromo
of?
says it's perfectly safe. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So,
What
do you have any more analysis, Doctor? I mean, is that something that happens only a few times a day, or is that something that you can do?
I don't have a limit on that. My understanding is that it would be probably follow the rules of observation or any other action, which is that I can try it on something new, but if it goes wrong, I can't keep doing it on the same thing.
Got
Correct.
it. Got it.
That's the
Doctor,
way
any
I
idea?
understand it as well.
Yeah, or at least the way it's written down on here. I don't know what it says in the book, but on my sheet, it doesn't give like a once per day or once per rest or anything like that. I
Yeah,
think
it's anytime you encounter something new, something strange or alien. Essentially, you can use it.
Yeah, I think the caveat with it is the possibility that we all gain stress if I can't figure out what's going on.
Correct.
All right. So Monaghan very excitedly would probably step into the room at what seems like a bit of a reckless pace around. Scientists wait their whole career to see something like this. Yeah, let me make an observation roll and see what I can ascertain about these jars.
All right. Holy crap! 3
Wow.
successes.
Some things. So, the list is relatively limited, as we know. Let's start with, am I able to figure out what's the purpose of these things?
You're fairly certain that it's some sort of container. As you look at it, you can see a very slight seam towards the top that wraps around the circumference of it. You're fairly certain there's something inside of it.
Can I figure out how it works to open it?
Yeah, you should be able to get this sucker open.
And last but not least, before I do so, I'll try to see if I can ascertain what problems I think it could cause if it looks like it has any kind of trap mechanism on it. I realize there may not be that much there, but I would look.
Yeah, nothing that would indicate. You're pretty sure that that this top would probably twist and lift right off. Just a slight turn, maybe even a quarter turn, or maybe even less. Looking at it, it looks like it is an airtight seal.
Okay.
So not a it's not too dissimilar to specimen jars and containers that scientists might use.
Okay. So I think I'd like to turn around and say to the rest of the group, I'm not sure what's inside these, but there's some kind of container. They seem to be hermetically sealed. I think it would probably be best if we clear out of the room and come back here with a concerted plan about how to approach it. I would like to open one of the containers, but I think I should do it in the room by myself with a hazmat suit.
I have a different suggestion. If we can lift one of the containers and carry it, what if we took it back to your lab and you did it inside a containment box?
In any case, I think if we're going to move or manipulate it any further than this, I should do it inside of a hazmat suit well away from the rest of you. Maybe we can come up with a protocol for me to exit the chamber. We don't have to do this right now. As I indicated earlier, I also want to conduct further analysis and collect direct samples from the fountain, and that's going to take further work. I would also like to see if we can restore power to the other door and see what leads, what's behind that. Is there another channel that breaks off and comes in underneath this room?
There is.
Okay, but we don't see any pool or a moat anywhere, so we don't know where that's going.
Correct.
Okay.
Let me ask this: when you did an analysis of this and the previous egg, for lack of a,
I'm sorry. Did everybody lose a point of stress for his successful analysis?
Oh, no.
Yeah, negative.
Yeah, great. Did it seem as if these eggs are? Can you lift one and carry it to another door and use it like a key for that door?
How big are the jars?
Not the jars, but the eggs. The key, the egg key for the door. That's what I was.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that. I mean, I don't know. Gold looked at it pretty heavily, and so did Monaghan. I think you guys would probably get the sense that if you were to try to remove it, you'd probably damage
destroy it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's another thought, which I had earlier, but I didn't really make at the time because it seemed like a last case kind of thing. But I do have a maintenance jack. Now that we know that the door operates on a vertical axis, we could maybe try to pop it a little bit and see if maybe we can get a camera under there, or maybe even open it enough to climb inside. It's just a thought.
Okay.
We should keep it in mind, but we should see if there's a, a less intrusive way to get through first, just on the chance that it damages the mechanism and we're not able to get through at all after that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I also have a cutting torch, but I didn't make that suggestion. Just
I think we're well ahead of making a brazen move like that, Mr. DeCowd. With that, if everyone's agreeable, I think we should return to the main chamber, regroup, and collect a strategy.
Is there anything else in the room besides the rubble and the jars?
No, there's about, like I said, about 20 of them spaced evenly apart. They're all spaced about 2 feet from each other. And there's about 20 of them. That's all they're doing is just standing there. And then the far side of the room past them, it's just a giant cave-in.
So the cave-in, the pile of rubble starts a decent distance away from where these are collected. It doesn't look like there was a time when there were more, but there's some buried, partially buried in the rubble or anything like that.
You know what? Make an observation roll. Because Nostromo asked this question, but he failed his observation roll, so... And no one kind of followed up. Oh, well, you failed. Make a panic roll, a 4. So you're holding it together, but yeah, you're not sure.
Okay.
Before we depart, the nature of the black stream of liquid going into the room, does it go into the rubble and then disappear, or does it have a...
You don't actually see where the stream comes into the room at all.
Oh, okay, so it's not like going underneath the door like the other one seemed to do?
It was. However, it doesn't seem to come out in this room.
So it drops down.
And at the other one, there was a drop-down channel, too. Yeah.
So it could be flowing under the floor for all we know.
Right. There could be a pool of it beneath us.
Yeah. That's an interesting view. A pool underneath the floor. Sounds like a trap to me.
And consistent with your hypothesis,
would I do something like that?
Who's the rogue in the party that can trust?
So the only other question I'll ask then is it does appear to you, Doctor, that the jars are just sitting on the floor?
Does it look like I can move one if I wanted to?
Probably,
yeah. And it's small enough that a person could pick it up and carry it?
Yeah, it's obviously you don't know the weight because you haven't tried, I imagine, but it's about 2 foot tall, and at its thickest point, it's probably 8 inches in diameter. So, unless it's extremely dense, yeah, someone should be able to pick it up, I would think.
Yeah, I believe we can move these if we need to. I think we should, again, make some careful decisions about how we intend to do that, what we intend to do with it when we do. For the moment, I would like to go back to the main chamber, retrieve my hazmat suit, and collect samples from the fountain. Once I have those secured on the table, we can come back here and move the jars if we want to. I do agree with your suggestion, Mr. Gould, that a containment chamber is the best place to evaluate whatever we're looking at.
But we got to get to the bottom of this black stuff.
Does the hallway terminate at the entrance to this room?
It does.
Okay.
So as far as we know, we've looked at the whole space.
Correct.
Except for what's behind the other door, but we know that chamber is there, whatever it is.
Right.
Okay. I probably wouldn't wait around for anyone to keep giving orders or anything like that. At this point, I would start heading personally back up the hallway.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question. This being a mining outfit, do we have like a ground penetrating radar or something like that?
Yeah, you do back at the colony. That's how you guys knew the cavern was there.
Right.
Yeah. So deploying it here makes sense to me. See if we can get a picture of what this fluid's doing.
Yeah, let me talk to Wayne about that. See how we can do that. What's the distance between when I look in the room, what's the distance between the doorway and the first set of the jars?
Oh, a meter?
Oh, it's not far. It's
no. Yeah.
3.301 feet. Okay. So, all right. All right. I'm going to head back up the pathway and talk to Wayne about the GPR and what the possibilities are. We don't
All
have
right.
much room to wield that contraption in here.
Monahan, as you had already turned up and were heading back while they were still conversing, do me a favor. As you enter that cavern, make an observation roll, would you?
Do. Wow.
All right.
What is this about? It says here she's brilliant.
But very unlucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or blind.
She's just focused on something else right now.
No matter how smart you are in a game, you're always playing craps.
Yeah, that's a true statement. You're of course welcome to push that roll should you desire.
No, I'm not going to because it's passive, and I don't think she has a reason to be,
to yeah,
especially looking around. Yeah.
I get it. That's fine. So you come back up and you're grabbing you're putting your hazmat suit on. Is that correct?
Yeah, I want to put my hazmat suit on, and I would start to recommend that everybody get out of the chamber while I do this.
Okay.
My concern, which I probably wouldn't vocalize to everyone, but my in-character thought process is if I disturb this and there's any kind of aerial release of any kind, then obviously we want to limit exposure for anybody who might be affected by that.
Okay.
And that's probably what I'd be thinking. But the idea that Monahan would explain that to everybody around, as opposed to, hey, I said there was going to come a point where I asked you all to get out of the room. That's probably what she would do.
Right. And is there anything in the supplies that would allow you to put a plastic sheeting over the open door or anything like that to limit exposure to whatever is inside there?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know that anybody thought to bring something like that, but I imagine Wayne could probably scare it up.
This you're talking about plastic to try to seal the room?
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be hermetically sealed, but sealed enough so that if something does, it doesn't immediately by draft go down the hallway and affect everybody else. That's all.
Right.
So, as you're putting your hazmat suit on, Dr. Monahan, and Gold, you had started coming back. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I was following the doc up the hallway.
So, Wayne says, Doctor, check that out. And as you follow his finger, and there's one of these damn spiders, and it has moved close to the pool of the oil-like substance, and it looked like just before he pointed it out to you, it looked like it had dipped a toe into the stuff, as it were, and it immediately jerked back, and now it's 2 or 3 inches away from the edge of the pool, and it has stopped moving entirely. He starts to very cautiously move towards it, trying to get a better look at it. And Gould, you're there, of course.
Yeah, Wayne, I wouldn't get too close to that damn thing.
He says, "I'm not, but he pointed it out to you, so if any of the three of you want to make it, well, I'm not going to roll for him, but if either of you want to make an observation roll, that's fine." All right, each have a success. So he pardon me. He reaches down. He picks up like a plastic dowel rod, probably a piece left over from putting up the stanchion lights or something like that. That's probably a good yard long or so. And he just very gently just kind of touches one of the legs of the spider, and it jerks back. It jerks back a few inches and kind of turns to face him. But it doesn't do anything else. It's clearly alive. Um, but you've been on this planet for a little while now, right? And you've never
Yep.
seen one of these spiders act like this. They never stop moving. They have a very quick assessment of what is of what they're going to do when there's a threat or that type of thing. Like when they run across humans, they pretty much skitter the other way pretty quickly. They don't really have much to do with you guys in general. But this guy, he's just kind of sitting there.
Anybody got a cat carrier around?
Have you guys all returned back to the cavern? To the main cavern? Has everyone
Yes.
come back? Yeah? Alright, so that's
Well, the thing's obviously not dead. If it was dead, Doc, I could have put it in one of these plastic bags that I brought with me, for lack of other terminology, a specimen bag. But
Would it fit into a
It's alive.
sample jar for now? One of the collection jars I brought.
do you think we could get him in there?
I'm not
He
sure.
responded pretty. All right. Well, Wayne, do you think you can corral that thing?
Wayne kind of looks at you and he says, I can give it a shot.
This is probably going to happen a lot in the future, Like just saying, like, there's probably no way of keeping spiders out of here.
Out of here. We might need
There
to
are,
find.
there are probably already hundreds of them down here.
I mean, I would assume spiders can fit just about anywhere, so they've probably done this before, but maybe not. Maybe somehow this place was completely sealed through some kind of advanced engineering.
And maybe they're coming down here through.
But there was a cave in
our
the
shaft.
other room, so it's been compromised.
True.
And remind me when the mining company, found an opening to this cavern.
Just a few hours ago.
Yeah.
A few hours ago. Okay, so boy, yeah,
This could be the first one that's even come down here.
it could be, but we can't have this
They could be hanging out
contaminated.
in little. Yeah, they could be hanging out in little niches on our tractor.
Yeah, I was going to say, shit, there's probably a couple came down with you on the tractor, honestly.
Is the rest of the cavern like? I know there's structures carved in down here, but the rest of it looks like a natural cave, right?
Correct.
We probably didn't bring the spiders in. We probably brought some spiders in, but it's exceedingly unlikely that they weren't here before.
So,
Our ability to get through the wall is different from them skittering through.
And
Of course, it'd probably be better to avoid contaminating whatever's down here, but it seems unlikely that this is the first time they've had contact with whatever the substance is.
the cavern opening is like probably 8 feet by 8 feet or something like that.
the opening that was broken through by the mining, no, it's only about a meter by a meter.
Oh,
Yeah,
so it was a little
we had to step
tunnel.
through it.
You had to step through it. Okay. I relay to the colonel to give orders to kill spiders on site when they approach the entrance to the border or entrance to the cave. You have license to kill spiders on site.
I will relay that to the Marines as I walk into where the spider is sitting.
Maybe all we need is a
the
broom.
others and just step on it.
Well, really quickly,
I meant the ones outside, but yes.
Wayne-
The idea is not to let any more in.
Wayne took the specimen jar from Monahan and tried to corral this thing, as you put it. And at the he was creeping up on it. He was pretty sure he had it. And at the very last second, when he went to put the jar down, the thing just dodged to the side, which you've seen these spiders do that type of thing a lot. But as it did so, it lashed out and it bit him on the hand. He goes, "You little bastard," and he kind of does that and shakes his hand and he backs off.
This is the point where it all goes to shit.
He he kind of looks down at his
Wayne's
hand
gotta
and
go.
says, "What,
Colonel,
the
you know
hell?"
what to do.
He's looking down at his hand going, "What the hell is going on?" And he kind of turns his hand around so that a couple of you can see it. And the bite mark is tiny. These things don't usually bite humans, and when they do, it's more just a get the hell away from me type of thing. But you guys know that their venom doesn't affect humans at all, not in the amount that these spiders dish it out. And he's got some black veininess going on near the bite mark. He goes, "What the hell is going on?"
I try and step on the spider.
All right, make a close combat roll. One success. All right, give me 1 second. Where is it? Where is it? Do you want to push the roll? You have a
Yes.
success. All right, go ahead and make your push.
So, add a stress.
Yep.
First combat, and I remove one success.
Correct.
Just -1. See if that works.
Oh,
Nice.
all right. So it's watching you as you come to it, and you can see it just the last moment. It's planning on jumping to the side, but you plan for that, and your foot comes right down on top of the furry little bastard with a crunching squish. Usually, when you guys kill these things, the fluid that pops out of them when you step on them tends to be of a purplish nature. This stuff is black. It's not the same color goo that's usually inside these spiders.
We've got to get Wayne into the auto
Yeah.
dock, like right now.
Wayne's kind of looking at it. He goes, I'm all right.
Show me your hand.
We all see this. Like we're all kind of down the hall.
Yeah, he kind of showed. You're all right there back in the main cavern. He kind of turned and showed it to you. He goes, "But I feel okay."
No,
Yeah,
to
you feel
count
okay
right
right now.
get you back to the lab.
I mean, you're already showing signs of infection.
all right.
Let's
all
just
right.
not argue about it, and let's just get you back up there.
He goes, "All right. Let's go."
So there's a medic back in the med bay
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
that's just not as qualified as I am.
Christopher Lacrosse.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we radio to Christopher to get ready because we're bringing in a patient?
Yeah, absolutely. He picks up. Yeah. This is Lacrosse. Dr. Monahan.
Yeah, Christopher, we're coming back to med bay with Wayne. What's Wayne's name?
Arpaia.
Wayne Arpaia. He's sustained what looks like an infected insect bite. I need you to look around for any kind of antivenom we have, and we'll be there in a few minutes.
An infected insect bite. I mean,
I'm not quite sure what it is
we've
yet.
been here
We'll be
for
back.
3 years. There's never been anything like this before.
I'll give you more details when we get there. Just get the medical bay ready. We're going to need to put him in the auto dock.
He goes, all right, not a problem. I'm getting prepped.
The rest of us, we need to find something. Plastic, corrugated, something. We got to find something to close up this opening so that these spiders can't get in here. So, who's going to drive the dock back with Wayne?
I'm gonna go back with the doc. and Wayne, and I will send out some roughnecks with materials to help secure the area and also prevent any damage to the floors or this river of stuff. So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So it'll be me, the doc, and the NPC, and is it Arpaia? Yeah.
Yeah.
Arpaia, and I think I don't know if we need a Marine to go with us or not.
You probably don't, Colonel. I think
We've got
you and your Marines and I should until they come back with something to close this off with. We got to be on spider watch and keep the spiders the heck out of here. Don't you think?
Taylor considers it for a while and fine. And she nods at two of them and they head off and go stand watch,
Okay.
wondering for spiders.
All right. So you've got one guarding the door you couldn't open. You've got two on spider duty, and you've got a third one here too. Is he on spider duty as well, or is he?
Yes, but he's more roaming around, having a look at
I got you.
anything untoward.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. So
And I'm on the outside. I'm in the main shaft outside of the opening on spider duty.
okay. All right. And DeCowd, you stayed down at the cavern as well, or did you go back?
Well, I stayed down, but I think that maybe I should take over spider duties. I got a cutting torch with medium range. If I have to, I can
Nice.
flame them up.
Okay.
So perhaps I shall endeavor to do that.
All right. Very
Now,
good.
I'm not at the ultimate entrance to the mine. I'm just at the entrance to the caverns.
Yeah,
right?
you're just in the cavern. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to deal with the group that head back. It is going to take 3 turns for you guys to get back to, because 1 turn to get out of the mine, 2 turns to get back to the colony, unless one of the 3 of you is going to make a. Well, I guess. I don't know that Wayne would be doing it unless Nostromo or the Doc are going to make a piloting roll to try to do it in half the time.
I have 0 piloting, 3 agility. I don't know, Doc. What do you have? Oh, Andy took off.
No, I'm ready. I'm back.
Oh, there he is. How's your piloting, Doc?
Not great.
Okay. I will give it a try because this is time sensitive stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before you do that, give me one.
Well, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
We're
That's
not
okay.
very good at it.
We'll just hold that roll in trust for just a moment.
Okay.
Trust.
All right, very good. All right, so you get up to the top of the mine head, and then you made your piloting roll, which you didn't have any successes. You're welcome to push it if you like.
I will.
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah, I really suck at piloting. Okay. At least I can get a panic.
Yeah. All right, so, Wayne seems to be doing okay as you guys are heading back. Except I rolled the wrong thing, and I just realized I rolled the wrong thing. Because this, I wish it just brought up the advanced dice roller to begin with, but it doesn't. All right, very good. And then, okay, where's Wayne? There's Wayne. As you guys are really pulling back into the colony. Wayne says, "I think I'm okay. The black striations going through his veins have not really spread past, maybe a half inch or inch around the bite mark, but they're still there. But Wayne's looking at you, going, I feel fine.
Listen,
but you guys
wait.
roll into the center square.
Wayne is with the LaSalle mining team, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so listen, Wayne, it's just protocol. We're going to have to take a look at you. The bite mark has some odd appearance to it. We're dealing with something we don't quite understand right now. I just need to take a quick look at you so I can let LaSalle know everything's okay.
He goes, all right, I get it. That's fine. Let's, as you guys, so you guys unload and you head into medical, right?
Yeah, that'd be my plan. Put
Yeah.
him in the auto dock and see if I can analyze what's going on with his wound.
All right, so Lacrosse is there, and he, as you guys, as the three of you all enter, he sees you all, and he says, "Okay, so who's been bitten?" Wayne holds
here.
his hand up, and he kind of takes a look at it. I've got the auto dock ready. He goes, "Wayne, what bit you?" And Wayne answers, "One of those damn spiders." And Lacrosse gets a very confused look on his face. We've never seen anything like this before. But he goes, "I got the auto dock ready. If Mr. Arpaia, if you want to climb in."
The spider itself may have been poisoned. We're not sure with what, and that's why we're concerned. So we're just checking out to make sure that Wayne doesn't have a contaminated wound. Specifically, we want to look at these striations kind of veining out from the puncture marks.
All right, so as Wayne climbs into the auto dock, make a Comtech roll, please, Monahan. See, I like the rules in the book about the auto dock says it requires Comtech to operate it, but then the auto dock itself has a 6 medical aid, and I kind of operate under the belief that just doesn't make sense to me. You know, if you program the auto dock successfully, shouldn't it just do what it does? You know?
Yeah, but you know what? I think there's a good balance to be struck here with kind of the way you're doing it here. Like, I'm using the auto dock specifically to try to investigate a thing,
Right.
So I'm using it as an interface. You can also put yourself in the auto dock and program it to execute a surgery, in which case it would have to act autonomous.
That's a true statement. Or, you know, a surgery or an alien abortion, as we saw in one movie. You know, just an example of a squid-like thing. All right, so you're holding it together as you operate the auto dock. There's definitely some sort of contaminant. I don't know that you would call it an infection per se, but there's definitely some sort of contaminant entering his bloodstream, the source being from that bite. A venom of some sort, maybe. It's the auto dock can't put a name on it. The auto dock doesn't know what it is. It doesn't seem to be spreading beyond that point, but you can't be sure how long that's going to hold. Wayne's a pretty fit, tough guy, and it's probably just his natural health level that's keeping this thing in check. The Lacrosse looks at you and says, well, we could probably treat this, but we've only got one med kit left. What do you want to do,
Is that the one that I have on me?
What's that?
Is that the one that I have on me?
Oh no, that's true. You've got one as well, but he meant medical itself has one med kit left.
Well, I have one left personally. I'd be happy to use it to make sure that Mr. Arpaio is okay. Yeah, let's do it. Is it better if I do it?
Yeah, make a medical aid and gain a +1 from Lacrosse's help. Oh, and +2 from the med kit. And the med kit is a consumable, so it's used.
So I get +3 total?
Correct. Oh, that's right. Just put in the 3, not the plus.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
That stupid thing. Roll your panic. A 4. All right, very good. What are the medical aid stunts? I always end up asking that question. I never seem to remember off the top of my head.
I think one of them is always to act quicker, and given that we have a time-sensitive, possible blood contamination going on, that's probably what I would go with.
Okay.
Unless I can answer a specific question, because I'd like to know as early as possible if Wayne's going to have to lose his hand.
So, in terms of the medical aid role, you do not have what is necessary to treat this. You consume the med kit, use whatever antivenom it may have, as well as probably a steroid shot and that type of thing, and it just does not seem to be clearing up. It hasn't spread beyond his hand, but whatever it is, it's not responding to conventional treatments. You just don't know enough about it.
So how much? Hang on a second. Science equipment was 1, and
Yeah.
how much was the med kit? Because I put the science.
The med kit
equipment
was a
down.
quarter slot.
Okay, so that's good. I'm sorry, I'm just adjusting my encumbrance.
Oh, no, you're all good.
I don't have the hazmat suit on right now, so I'm actually at 1.5. All right. So the autodoc can't figure it out. What supplies we have are not stopping the infection.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to be spreading either.
What else do I have here? Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to do in that circumstance. Wayne clearly shouldn't leave medbay.
Lacrosse kind of looks at you. Well, he doesn't seem to be suffering any effects. Wayne goes, "I feel fine. I think I'm okay."
Is it possible there's something in the lab that I could use to analyze his hand further?
Back in LaSalle Labs? Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say probably. Lacrosse should. You want me to start taking blood samples, that type of thing?
Let's draw 2 tubes of blood, and then I'd like to take him over to the lab to take a look at the wound.
All right. So let's do that. Let's have Lacrosse roll medical aid, which should be no problem for him. He's just drawing blood. He's an RN. I think he can figure that out.
All right. In the meantime, I'm going to wander into command since I'm right next door.
Okay. All right, that's perfect. All right, so Lacrosse does that thing, and then you take Wayne over to LaSalle. Lacrosse looks at you. He says, "Do you want me to come with you? Do you need help?"
Let's see. Who's over there? Nisa?
Yeah, Nisa's there. Lacrosse is kind of, in terms of the LaSalle UPP thing, Lacrosse is kind of in a weird spot because he was a 3WE citizen who chose not to leave when the UPP took over because he didn't want to leave the colony without medical staff. So he's kind of a UPP citizen by default, but he doesn't identify with the UPP, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he's 3WE who didn't leave, and now he's kind of in limbo, and he's sort of just like, I stayed here to help.
Exactly.
He's just more or less just there for the people who are around.
Correct.
No, let's have Lacrosse stay.
Okay.
So, no, Chris, you can stay. How's Billy looking?
He looks over. Billy's okay. He's still asleep, but everything looks fine. I've got IV fluids running in him. Everything seems to be just fine. I was gonna let him go for about another hour or so, and then wake him up, make sure he's responsive and everything's good.
In the meantime, do me a favor, sterilize the autodoc just in case.
He goes, "Yes, no problem. I've got it, doctor."
So with that, I'd probably take Wayne over to the lab.
All right. So Nisa is there. What did you leave her working on when you guys left? Did you leave her working on back to milking spiders, or is she producing more lubricant, or what is she up to? Doesn't really matter. I was just curious.
It would have been whichever is more useful. I think the lubricant is still under testing, so maybe we would have had her working with the spiders for now.
Okay.
Since we know that has been functional. And then if we get good results back from the lubricant, maybe we'll shift her over to working on that.
Gotcha. All right, so she walks in. As you walk in with Arpaia, she looks up from her work and says, "Dr. Monahan, I didn't expect you back this quickly." And then she sees Wayne. She goes, "Mr. Arpaia?"
And I'll say, yes, Nisa, we had a bit of an incident down in the mine, in the cavern, and Wayne here has been bit by a spider that we think may have been poisoned or otherwise contaminated with something. So I was hoping to use the facilities here and just put his hand under a microscope and take a closer look at what's going on with his wound before we put him back in the field.
Okay. All right. So I would. I'm trying to decide how I want you to roll this out. I guess it's an observation roll, unless you've got an argument as to why it'd be something else.
To determine what I can find out about his wound?
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's the best roll that I could have for it anyway, so I would take that.
All right.
Let's see here. All right.
Wow. Look at you. All right.
Maybe find some stuff out finally.
All right. You've got some stunts there. I don't know how we can make them apply, but we can figure that out.
Well, this would be analysis, right?
Yeah, you can use analysis on this.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find some related questions. You can let me know if they fit within the scope.
Well, I will tell you what you can find just really quickly before you ask the questions. Then you can base your questions around that. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. It's not just the conventional LV-703 wolf spider venom. There's some sort of contaminant in it, and it looks like something you've seen before.
Okay. Am I aware from my previous experiences what problems it could potentially cause?
Yeah, you've experienced some of that firsthand. Yeah.
Okay. How long does he have?
You're not sure. Wayne seems to be a pretty tough guy, and his natural constitution seems to be holding it off, but that's not going to last forever.
Okay. In my prior experience, do I know any other way to counteract or slow what I'm seeing here?
It has not. It doesn't look like it is spread past the hand.
Mhm.
There's a possibility that if you amputate, he'll be okay.
Okay.
A possibility.
So I'm gonna look over who's with me right now. It's is it just me and Nisa?
It's just you and Nisa.
Okay. I'm gonna look over at Nisa and say, Nisa, I'm sorry. Can you give us a minute?
She looks at you and says, "Okay, doctor," and she steps out the door into the vestibule.
And when she leaves, I'm gonna turn around and say, Wayne, I have some bad news for you.
He kind of, all right, what's going on?
The wound on your hand is not going to get better. You've been poisoned. It's spreading into your bloodstream. I don't know what it is, but I do know that it is necrotizing the tissue around the wound, and it appears to be collapsing your veins as it moves through. You probably can't feel that yet.
He says, "No, I feel fine. I mean, it's a little itchy, but
I know,
bitten,
I know, and that's why you're not going to want to hear this, but I have to amputate your hand right now.
I mean, there's got to be another option here. I mean,
There isn't going to be another option. If I don't do this, I'm concerned by the end of the day, you will be dead.
All right, make a manipulation roll.
Okay.
Oh wow, look at you. He struggles against that for a moment, and I can't believe it. I don't. Okay. Okay.
The
I guess.
tissue surrounding that wound is going to die, and then I believe it's going to die in a somewhat radial fashion until it necrotizes your entire body.
That's all right. Okay, let's just figure this out. Let's do what we have to do.
Okay, so I'd like to take him back over to the med bay. If I can, I'll radio before I even leave. Get the auto doc ready. We're going to perform another amputation.
All right. Go ahead and perform your Comtech roll, if you would, please. Where's my stupid... Go away. Get off here.
Oh yeah.
I need my
Wow.
advanced roll. Wow. All right. So you've got 2 stunts.
If I can, I'd like to just make it snappy and be extra clear with what I'm trying to communicate so that the auto doc is ready. I'll tell them it's his hand. It's going to have to come off. He's agreed and cooperative.
All right. He says, "What do we have any more of that spider anesthetic that you guys gave? Oh, God, I don't even know if I want that. I was just bitten by." He goes, "I don't know. Let's just
Listen,
do this."
Wayne, we have more, and it works. We know that it works.
Okay.
We're going to do what we can for you, but we have to do this now.
All right. So he climbs into the auto dock. I imagine you could put a call into Nisa to have her run over with the latest batch of anesthetic.
Yeah. I would have let her know on the way out the door.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, so you hit him with an injection gun full of that stuff, and the auto dock starts to work within a few minutes. Lacrosse is just kind of standing there aghast. He says, "What is it? What did you have to, why did we have to do this?"
It's hard to describe. He's been infected or poisoned with some kind of necrotizing agent that was slipping into his bloodstream. If we don't take his hand, it's going to kill him.
Lacrosse is just he's
once we have it, I
himself
know
on
this seems morbid. I will take the hand and study it further. I'm going to try to come up with an answer here, which I think we need before we go back down into those caverns, but we have to save his life.
Lacrosse, he's nodding. Speaking of the caverns, hey, you guys
Sorry to run
been...
away with the train there.
Oh, real quick, Nostromo, what have you been doing in? I know it's you. I'm sorry, you did send. You were sending some emails. That's right. I apologize. Did you have anything else you were doing while you were working on that?
Negative.
Okay. All right. Very good. That probably doesn't take too long, I imagine. So do you head back into medical and catch kind of the tail end of all that after doing that, I assume, or?
Correct.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. All right. So back at the caverns. You guys, so you guys are on spider duty over there, and as you start to look, you begin to realize that, yeah, there's some of these furry little bastards around, more than you might have expected. Either you brought them down, or they're coming in somewhere else, or they're just coming in. The Marines over by the door, they've warned some off, squished others, that type of thing. Can I get observation rolls from the 3 of you that are down there? Who else is down there? Oh, DeCowd's down there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's DeCowd. I'm sorry, I missed it further up. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right, so you're all doing a pretty solid job. Keeping anything from going near this this stream of black liquid. Though you begin to realize that over time, or maybe it happened before, that you missed a couple of them. There's 2 of these spiders. Of course, there's the one Sotia is squished, but there's 2 of these spiders that are pretty much on the edge of where the channel is, heading south, that are right next to it. They're on their backs with their legs curled up, as if something just didn't agree with them too much. And who had the 2 successes? So Tio, as you get a closer look at one of those, these wolf spiders are kind of a furry brown, and its pigmentation, its color has changed. It's not kind of a dark brown anymore. It's more black than brown. It's like whatever it was exposed to actually changed the color of these 2 spiders. But like I said, they're on their back with their legs curled up.
Are they dead or just
Well,
unhappy?
the last ones weren't dead.
Well,
The last one.
the last one wasn't all curled up. It was just sitting there.
Okay.
So this looks like when you see a spider that has just died with its legs curled up, that's kind of what it looks like. Well, you're asking that question. Is there a way you want to check to see if it's dead or no?
Yeah, I guess so. I'll grab a stick or a pole of some kind that's here, or
Well, you can use the one that
That Wayne used.
Wayne dropped. Dropped.
All right.
yeah, or something equivalent, and I will squish him.
All right. You're actually going to try to squish him.
Yep.
All right.
squish him.
Make a close combat roll then. Should be easy for you. Oh yeah, there's a success. So as you kind of reach out with this pole, and the moment the pole kind of touches the hairs on the underside of this thing, its legs kind of shoot open for just a moment, and you get a good look. You're suddenly realizing that this thing's a bit bigger than you probably realize these spiders normally are. But you push the pole through its abdomen or its thorax, and this blackish fluid kind of dribbles out of it, and its legs curl back up on itself. And there's another one a few feet to the right. And as you do this and its legs curl up on itself, it releases a kind of a high-pitched, a sound that you've never heard a spider make. And as you do so, the other one's legs unfurl, and it stands and turns to look at you. And it's big. It's big. It's probably twice the size of one of what it should be, and it's black, and its legs are shiny, and it's looking at you in the most terrifying way you could imagine. And from there, some of you guys get initiative cards. How's that make you feel?
Very scared.
All right, so.
Come here.
All right, so that's it. Let's see. Who do we got down there? We got so Tio, DeCowd, and Gould in the Marines. Gould in the Marines. Is that correct?
That's
Yes.
correct.
All right. So the Marines are going to be on a 9. So Tio, you have a 2. DeCowd, you have a 3. And Gould, you have a 5. I did shuffle these, I promise. And the spider is on a 1 and a 7. So the spider... So Tio, roll a d6 for me, would you? A 5. Okay. Where's my spider? Where's my spider? There he is. Nope, that's not him. There he is. So, Tio, the spider leaps at you. I mean, it's probably 6 feet away from you, and it leaps right at your face. At the last moment, you duck, and it kind of sails over you and lands on its feet behind you. And so that's okay. As if that wasn't terrifying enough. You do have to make an immediate panic roll, and everyone gains a point of stress. Everyone who's there, obviously. All right, so you're holding it together. All right, so Tio, you are on a 2. The thing is just a couple feet away from you.
I try and squish it.
All right, make a close combat roll. Oh my god!
Holy mackerel!
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
That thing is not that scary.
All right, well,
It's scary, but you do not mess with the UPP.
yeah, that's right.
So Tio's on the spider crushing simulator every night.
Yeah, that's right. So with a cracking of this exoskeleton and a squish of black fluid that goes everywhere, and this thing squeals as you just stomp it and flatten it. Would you please make a stamina roll? Alright, you had a success. Would you like to push that roll? You don't even know what it's for.
Nope, but let's push it.
Alright, roll your panic. 5. So you're holding it together. When you squish this thing, some of this goop kind of splashes up onto the exposed part of your hand, and you, I imagine you kind of look at it in disgust and wipe it off on your fatigues or something along those lines. Your hand felt a little funny where it hit you. It was kind of warm and a little tingly, but as you wipe it off, it goes away.
Infected.
Oh, she had 4 successes on her stamina roll. I'm sure she's fine.
You know who else is fine? Wayne.
Old Stumpy.
Yeah.
That's right.
The hook.
The second of many.
Oh, you
Yeah,
guys
you're
are so
you're just
concerned.
making them left and right up there.
Yeah.
Oh, so what do you guys in the cave want to do? The spider is squished. The big, scary, black spider is squished.
Were there others?
No,
that you
there were 2 that were kind of curled up like that, and she squished one with the pole, and then the other one jumped to its feet and came at you guys, but she stepped on it and flattened it.
said? Well, so maybe these other ones are waiting to jump up on their feet too, right?
Well, there's none others that you see outside of the ones that you guys have just kind of been actively policing as they come through. So most of these are just or not most of them, pretty much all the ones you've seen have just been the generic, brown spider that you're used to, brown wolf spider, and they turn and run from you when they see you. And I imagine probably now, especially the UPP Marines are flattening these bastards as quick as they see them. I mean, and don't misunderstand. There's not like hundreds of these things all crawling all over the place.
No, but it's clear. It's clear these 2 were some that we missed.
Correct.
It's also clear that this
somehow
is a
got-
losing battle, that we can't hope to really keep them away from here. Did we notice the colonel get splashed with spider gunk?
Yeah, I would say everybody saw it.
All right. Colonel, I think you need to go to the med bay.
Or at least, I don't know, I would think you just wipe that stuff off. I would think at least immersing the site with water
I mean, something's clearly going on. That spider. Have you ever seen a spider like that?
No.
Twice the size and black, and even its guts were a different color. And now, whatever's inside of it, there's a chance it might have been absorbed through your skin. I really think you should go have yourself checked out. Maybe it's nothing, but maybe it's the start of something serious.
Can I take an aside right quick to say I'm a pretty frequent VR enthusiast. I love to play virtual reality games, and one of the coolest games that I've played so far is called Carnage Chronicles, which is a little multiplayer dungeon hack you can do with your friends. It's not a kind of game I would usually play, but when you go immersive in VR and you're looking around, you're in the world, I'll play almost anything. And one of the enemies in that is a spider that would probably stand close to about 14 inches tall and maybe, a foot or so wide. And it doesn't matter that it's a cartoon or not. When it jumps at you, it is fucking terrifying. One of the scariest things. It immediately, whatever fear of spiders you've ever had in your life rushes back to you like you're 5 years old. You're like, get the fuck away from me. It's awful. It's not the enemy you'd want to see when you think about a small spider. I'm like, oh, it's the size of a dog. Well, it's only the size of a dog. You would shit your drawers. Anyway, just a little aside with what limited personal experience I have with actual giant spiders.
Hey, my wife kills the spiders in the house. Me and spiders do not get along.
Yeah, they're not for everyone.
No, she'll pick the bastards up and put them outside. I'm like, just step on that guy.
Yeah.
Just
All right. Well, back to the game. Wayne was the guy that was going to scare up some plastic or something else to try and cover up this opening, and he's up at medical. I don't know what else we can do.
Do the spiders appear drawn to this black goo?
No, not specifically. They're just generally a generally curious animal as a whole. Yeah,
They're like cats.
Yeah. They'll check out pretty much anything if it's there. Just what your experience with them on planet's been.
I'm gonna rummage through the tractors, through all the equipment, and look and see if there's anything that I can use to cover this opening. Otherwise, we're waiting on. We're waiting on Nostromo to try and send someone back with something.
Make an observation roll to see if you find something.
Okay.
Monaghan, the auto dock is pinging. It's making an alarm noise.
Okay.
And when you check out the display, very good, Gould. Okay. As you check out the display, it is stating that while it's only just begun the amputation of Wayne's hand, whatever the contaminant is that you guys detected with the autodoc before has moved. And as you look, you can see that his entire left arm, it's moved up. He's got black striations in his veins all up his left arm, disappearing under his shirt. Yeah.
Is the autodoc sealed?
It is sealed. Yep.
Okay.
And as you look further, you can even see that it's up in his neck and everything. Gould, you're able, while Monaghan's thinking about that, as you look through, you actually find, you think you could probably use a piece of sheet metal that you could probably close that thing over with if you had a way to attach it. If you had a bolt gun or something like that.
Caulk. Something.
Did you guys say that you did? I'm sorry, Mr. Gould.
Go ahead.
Did you radio back to us already about this, or has there been any communication about what's going on?
Not yet.
Okay.
I was going to ask the game mother about time dilation because I don't. Now I don't know where we are in time. There is a point where after a certain amount of time, I would radio up for a sit rep.
Yeah, I would say at this point, everybody's caught up to each other. Wayne's in the auto dock and things are not going well, and you guys have just killed the spider and you were rummaging through the tractor. And like I said, you think you found a piece of sheet metal that you could put over it if you had a way to attach it and seal it up.
All right. Well, I've got a company radio. Is there a colony radio in the tractor?
You could tune your radio into whatever colony
Okay.
frequency you needed. And I think Monaham's got a radio too, doesn't she? Or does she
Yeah.
not?
She does.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to call the doc on the radio, Monaghan, and ask how Wayne's doing.
Things are not going that great up here, Mr. Gould. We are working on Wayne right now. He's in the auto dock. We're attempting to amputate his hand. I think it might have to be his entire arm, and I'm not sure if that's enough.
That bad?
Yeah, you guys need to get out of there.
Well, we're right now we've had some interaction with a few more spiders that got into this contaminant, and it's not been good. But we're hanging in there. We've got to do something to try and keep the spiders from getting into this stuff. This could be bad for everyone in the colony if they do. I'm gonna jump off and try and find Comrade Intendant Nostromo. So I'm gonna switch frequencies now. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, keep us posted, Mr. Gould.
Nostromo's
I'm actually
standing
in
there
there.
with you.
Yeah, I'm in there.
You were in there? I didn't.
I'm in there hearing you, and so I'm gonna direct to have some roughnecks load up one of the loaders to bring whatever we think necessary to blockade the entrance to that until we can figure out what to do next.
Yeah, I think a bolt gun, and plenty of tubes of sealant as a minimum, and get them hustled down here fast.
All right, so I'll go, and I'm not sure. DeCloud is my right hand man, right?
Yeah, more
He's
or less.
down there
He's the workers' rights representative, and yeah, you work very closely with him. He's a friend of yours.
But is he down there or is he up here?
He's down
with
there.
our-
Yeah.
He's down there. Okay. I will talk to whoever I have to talk to get some vehicle moving with the parts and the bolt gun down there.
Okay. Yeah, that shouldn't be a hard thing for you to get some help, because I mean the colony's got like 80 people on it, a lot of whom are roughnecks. So finding someone to go to the depot and start getting that together shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. Monahan, you're actually looking at Wayne, so why don't you make an observation roll?
Okay.
Roll your panic. Okay.
All right.
Man, you are cool as a cucumber. You've been panicking a lot, but you're cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, I got a 5, a 3, and a 4.
Yeah. Wayne kind of starts to groan, and he's starting to struggle up against the restraints that are in the auto dock, and he starts saying, "Get me out of here! Come on, get me out of here!" He starts to shout, and he turns and he shouts, and he looks right at you and shouts, "Get me out of here!" And the irises of his eyes have turned black. Gain a point of stress, please.
Okay, and with that, I think I am going to turn to Nisa and everybody else who's in the room. I'm just going to say, everybody get out now.
Nisa's like, are you doctor?
Out now.
She says, "Okay," and she starts to haul. Lacrosse is like, "You don't need me."
Everybody get out.
All
You're
right.
gonna die.
There's still a Marine standing there, so Tio left him on on guard with his to keep an eye on Billy. The Marine radios back in Spanish to Sotillo. Sotillo, you get a call from the Marine saying that something is going wrong here in medical. I don't know what it is. The LaSalle doctor is shouting something. I don't understand her. The man in the auto dock is shouting and struggling. Orders.
Is Billy on wheels? Is he on a gurney or something?
He's on a gurney. He's asleep on a
Okay.
gurney.
I'm gonna point at the Marine and say, "You help me fast. Grab Billy and try to tell him like we got to get him out of here."
So Tio, did you get that radio message?
Yep. I will just relay back. Follow the doctor's orders. Use best judgment if situation warrants protection of life.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. I have to make a roll here. Give me a moment. All right. There is a shattering of glass from the auto dock as you move to get Billy and the gurney and start to push him out. And that's what you do. You just push him out this door and like down the hall by the main dorm, going outside, that type of thing.
I am trying to push him out the door here, and then ideally the Marine and I will fall out of the door and close that fucker up.
Okay.
My between some prior experience with a sickness like this and the way that it happened, my concern at this point is that there's going to be some eruption of contaminant that's going to get all over. That's why I wanted to get everybody out.
I got you. So as you close the door behind you, you see Wayne crawling out of the auto dock, and he lets out this inhuman sound.
Can I ask real quick what the window's like and the door? Is it?
Yeah, it's exactly. It's just like what you would expect from the movies we've seen. It's a colony mechanical metal door with a window that's probably 8 inches by 8 inches.
Okay.
But what you see come out of that auto dock just does not look like Wayne. Everybody see that? Isn't that lovely?
Mm-hmm.
We can take Wayne off. And so you shut the door. I assume the idea is to lock it in some way.
Yeah, if we can. I want to lock
Make
the
a
door.
Comtech roll. Shouldn't be too hard.
2 successes.
2 successes.
looking
All right, so locking it's not a problem. You've got a bonus stunt. All right,
I'll lock it and lock it fast.
All right. So the door closes just as he kind of lopes over towards it, and there's a thumping on the metal from behind, and you can see through the window as he's just pounding on the door with his fists. The face looks vaguely like Wayne, but the eyes are black. The skull seems to have elongated out the back, and it's a terrifying thing. And with it being 2 o'clock Eastern, I think that's a good spot to stop.
I'll take a point of stress voluntarily for that happening. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Hey, can you put that picture of the guy back up?
Yeah.
Wait.
Of Wayne himself, or what Wayne now is?
Yeah, wait now.
Bad Wayne.
The new and improved Wayne.
That's right.
Augmented Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne Plus.
Subterranean Wayne.
Yeah, that was Wayne. This is Wayne now.
This is like a Tinder situation.
Yeah.
Vaguely like him might have been a little generous.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Interesting. Good place to stop. I'm not sure what to do.
We're all in deep shit.
Yeah, this
Which-
one this got out of hand pretty fast.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We're trying to keep it in hand, but
I will say this: Wayne was making his stamina rolls like a boss.
Yeah, he really
Yeah.
should have gone south a long time before he did. I was surprised he made it over to the LaSalle Labs.
Oh man, I was waiting. You guys were going to be halfway down from the mine, and he was just going to lose it right there in the tractor. And
When we took him over to look at his hand on to check him out in the lab, I was as soon as I came up with the idea, I'm like, this is probably the end of Wayne and Nisa and maybe me.
it definitely had the makings of a horror movie moment. There's no doubt. I was excited, but he hung in there, man. He kept rolling successes. So, all right, guys. Thanks so much for playing as usual. I hope everyone had fun.
Everyone except Wayne.
Everyone except Wayne. Poor Wayne.
Ain't had a bad time.
Next Wednesday, yeah, Wednesday next week.
Yep.
I believe so.
Okay.
Good for me.
I
good for me.
think I'm good to go. Full disclosure, Tuesday night I'm taking my older two kids who are 18 and 20 to an Offspring concert down in Raleigh.
Nice.
And it doesn't start till 8, so I'm thinking I'm gonna be back somewhere around 2 in the morning maybe.
Oh,
So I might be a little slow and groggy first thing, but I'll throw plenty of coffee at it. My ears will probably still be ringing, but I'll be here. So
Well,
sounds good.
to help
Yeah,
keep you awake and alive, we'll mail some spiders to you.
yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Nice big box of them.
Yeah. Yes. Like I said, spiders are one of my own personal fears. So there's nothing better than putting what you personally are afraid of into the game. That's where it always gets fun.
There's an episode of Always Sunny where Charlie gives somebody he doesn't like a box of spiders.
I remember
And there's
that
another episode where he gives somebody he really doesn't like a box of wasps.
Yeah, oh, that's terrible. I
I
remember the
remember
box
that.
of
He delivers
spiders.
that one in person, I think.
Yeah, he delivers
right?
that in
Yeah.
person. It's supposed to be like this like revenge act. Or no, it's supposed to be for spite. And then he finds out the guy dumped the waitress and treated her like shit. And he's just like, so you go ahead and keep that.
That's awful.
Yeah. Good show, though.
It's a great show. All right,
All right,
guys.
guys.
We'll see you next week.
All right,
Excellent.
thanks, Marty. See you guys.
Bye.
Guys.
Yeah.